Good morning, dear friend. The first light of dawn is breaking across the horizon, and the stillness of this sacred hour rests gently on your heart. The air is cool, the streets are quiet, and the sky holds the faint glow of a new day that has not yet unfolded. This is the most tender moment between night and morning, a time when heaven seems close enough to touch and the soul can breathe again before the noise of life begins to rise. In this space, your spirit is invited to pause, to listen, and to step into a holy conversation that will set the tone for everything that follows. Perhaps you woke today with a weight pressing against your chest. Maybe yesterday left you with unanswered questions, restless fears, or a loss too heavy to carry alone. You may know someone who just buried a loved one and wonders how the pieces of life will ever fit together again. You may recall a parent at the hospital waiting beside a fragile child, or a worker sitting in silence after losing a job that provided for the family. These are not distant stories. They are the real tears of neighbors, brothers, sisters, and sometimes our own. Pain and fear have a way of showing up uninvited at our door, whispering that we are not enough, that the battle is too great, that hope has slipped beyond our reach. And yet, here you are in the earliest hour of the morning, awake when the world is still. There is something powerful about this moment, as if God Himself has drawn you to rise and meet Him in the quiet. The scriptures remind us that those who seek Him early will find Him, and that His mercies are new every morning. This dawn is not empty. It carries the promise that even in the darkest valleys, there is a path to break through. Even in silence, there is a voice that calls your name. Even in weakness, there is a strength that is not your own. This is why prayer is not a ritual to be rushed through, but a lifeline stretched between heaven and earth. When the heart cries out with honesty, when the lips speak truth shaped by faith, the unseen world begins to move. Chains fall, burdens lift, clarity comes, and peace rises like sunlight scattering the night. Prayer does not deny the existence of sorrow, but it refuses to give sorrow the final word. Prayer plants seeds of victory where despair tried to root itself. Prayer is the language of those who dare to believe that God's promises are stronger than human fears. So, dear friend, I invite you to open your heart in these early hours. Let the stillness around you become a sanctuary. Lay down every burden you brought into this morning. Release every fear that clings to your mind. This is not the time to perform or to pretend. This is the time to be honest, to be present, and to be willing to receive. As you journey forward, you will discover that the God who meets you here does not turn away from brokenness. He steps into it with you, offering hope, healing, and strength for the day ahead. Let this morning be the beginning of a deeper rhythm, a rhythm where prayer is not an obligation, but a breath, where faith is not a distant concept, but a living fire within, where every sunrise becomes a reminder that you are never abandoned, never forgotten, and never without a reason to hope. Lift your eyes now. Breathe deep and prepare to enter into conversation with the one who loves you more than words can measure. The journey begins here, in the sacred quiet of dawn. Dear Heavenly Father, the morning light has not yet fully broken, but I come to you now in the stillness of this sacred hour. The world is quiet, my room is dim, and my heart is reaching for the peace that only you can give. I choose to begin my day in your presence, not with the noise of my phone, not with the weight of unfinished tasks, but with a surrendered heart that longs to be with you. I bring before you the awareness of yesterday, the worries that still linger, and the burdens that press on my chest. I will not hide them or try to carry them alone, because you already know every hidden thought and every trembling fear. I open my soul before you as one who is thirsty for living water, and I ask you to fill me again. I confess that I am often distracted by lesser things. Too often I reach for control instead of reaching for you. Too often I let fear speak louder than your promises. Yet here in this early hour, I want to turn away from the noise and turn toward the one who is my refuge and my strength. I need your nearness more than I need answers, more than I need solutions, more than I need clarity. I need your presence, because your presence is life itself. I imagine myself as a watchman standing on the walls, waiting for the first sign of dawn. My eyes scan the horizon, not just for the rising sun, but for your light breaking into the darkness of my heart. I choose to believe that even now, as I lift these words to you, heaven bends low to listen. My prayer is not an empty whisper into the night. It is a seed planted in faith, and in your time it will bear fruit. Lord, I bring before you the heaviness I cannot shake, the anxieties about the future, the regrets about the past, and the unknowns that stir unease in my chest. I surrender them at your feet, one by one. Take the fear that wakes me in the night. Take the sorrow that lingers like a shadow. Take the doubts that question whether I am enough. Replace them with the steady assurance that I am yours, and that nothing can separate me from your love. I remember how fragile life feels at times, yet how secure I am in your hands. Even when my body feels tired and my soul feels stretched thin, you are the one who sustains me. You hold the breath in my lungs and the beat of my heart. You are the one who kept me through the night and awakened me to see another day. For this gift of life, I give you thanks. For the chance to begin again, I give you praise. I ask you now to cover me under the shadow of your wings. Let me dwell in the secret place where fear cannot reach me and despair cannot root itself. Wrap me in the strength of your faithfulness, for it is stronger than any trial I face. As the psalmist said, "You are my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust." I declare that truth over my morning, over my body, over my mind, and over my spirit. Help me to keep my eyes fixed on you when distractions come. Help me to choose your peace when chaos tries to intrude. Help me to listen for your whisper when the world shouts its demands. Make this early hour not just a ritual, but a rhythm of intimacy with you, a place where my soul finds its anchor before the storm of the day. I bring before you every unspoken cry, every silent ache, every longing I cannot put into words. You see it all. You understand the tears that never fall, the weight that no one else notices, the dreams I am almost too afraid to hope for. Nothing is hidden from you. Nothing is too small for your care. Nothing is beyond the reach of your mercy. So I ask you, Father, to breathe into this morning. Let the air around me be filled with your presence. Let my heart rise with quiet strength. Let my words carry faith and not fear. Let my steps today be steady, even if the path feels uncertain. Teach me to trust not in what I can see, but in who you are. Teach me to rest in the truth that you are already here, already working, already writing stories of redemption that I cannot yet understand. I choose to surrender my schedule, my relationships, my hopes, and my struggles to you. Nothing is too complicated for your wisdom. Nothing is too broken for your healing. Nothing is too lost for your grace. Where I see endings, you bring beginnings. Where I feel weakness, you pour strength. Where I sense emptiness, you fill with overflowing love. Father, I do not come this morning with polished words or perfect strength. I come as I am, in need of you. I come with a heart that longs to be steadied by your hand. I come with faith that is small but real, and I offer it to you like a seed. Water it, grow it, and let it bear fruit that brings glory to your name. As I sit in this quiet hour, I know the day ahead will bring its challenges. There will be moments where I will feel tested, stretched, and even shaken. But I declare right now that I will not walk into this day alone. I walk with you beside me, before me, behind me, and within me. You are my covering, my guide, my strength, and my song. Let the rising sun remind me that your mercies are new. Let every breath remind me that your spirit is near. Let the stillness of this moment remain in my soul, even when the world grows loud. May the peace that I taste in this hour carry me through the noise, the conflicts, and the temptations of the day. And as I rise from this place, may my heart remain bowed in reverence. May my words remain seasoned with grace. And may my life remain a witness that you are good. This is my prayer as the morning begins, as the dawn breaks, and as I step into a day that belongs to you. Lord, as I continue from the stillness of the early morning, where I first laid down my fears, I come deeper now, desiring to release every hidden weight that clings to my soul. The dawn stretches wider, and with its light I see more clearly the corners of my heart that long to be washed. I will not carry into this day the stains of yesterday, nor will I pretend that shadows do not exist. I bring them openly to you, knowing that only in your mercy can I stand renewed. There are words I have spoken that did not honor you, thoughts I entertained that fed my pride, actions that sprang not from faith, but from fear. I confess them all, Lord, without excuse and without disguise. I do not want to polish my mistakes into something small, for I know you see them fully already. Instead, I choose honesty, because honesty is the soil where freedom grows. Cleanse me of the motives I have buried, the grudges I have secretly kept, the judgments I have whispered only in my mind. Strip them away, not because I deserve it, but because you are faithful to forgive. Father, I long for the purity that allows me to walk freely and unashamed. I long to lift my hands without guilt, and to speak words that flow from a heart aligned with yours. I ask you to create in me a fresh spirit that leans toward kindness instead of bitterness, toward patience instead of resentment, toward truth instead of compromise. Let my repentance not be shallow, Lord, not merely a moment of regret, but a genuine turning, a deep shifting of direction that carries me closer to you. God, I recognize how quickly I fall back into patterns of self-defense, trying to justify my errors or shift the blame. But this morning, as the world awakens, I surrender those defenses. I let them crumble in your presence. I am not defined by what I have done wrong, nor am I reduced to my failures. I am defined by the love that has pursued me since the beginning and by the grace that covers me even now. That grace is my covering, and that mercy is my new beginning. In the quiet of this room, I feel the release of chains I did not even know I carried, chains of harsh words spoken long ago, chains of shame that whispered in my thoughts, chains of comparison that stole my joy. I renounce them now, one by one. I declare that they have no power over this new day, because your forgiveness has spoken louder than their accusations. I step out of those chains and into the light of freedom that you alone provide. Lord, I ask you to wash not only my actions but my desires, for it is in the secret places of longing that compromise often begins. Purify what I hunger for, refine what I chase after. Let the cravings of my soul be satisfied in you, and not in fleeting pleasures that leave me empty. Let my imagination be filled with what is holy. Let my choices reflect what is eternal. Let my steps move in rhythm with your heart. I lay before you the subtle pride that hides behind good intentions, the impatience that rises when things do not go my way, the silent envy that surfaces when I see others succeed. Burn them away, Lord, like chaff in the wind. Replace them with humility that bows without fear, contentment that rests without striving, and gratitude that sings without condition. Father, I surrender also the secret battles no one else sees, the unspoken doubts that creep in the night, the bitterness that tries to root itself in old wounds, the fears that whisper I will fail again. Shine your light on them, and let them lose their hold. Where my thoughts have been clouded, bring clarity. Where my motives have been twisted, bring truth. Where my heart has been hardened, bring tenderness. This morning, I make a choice to let go of every mask. I will not hide behind the illusion of strength. I will not pretend to be whole when I am cracked. I lay down my need to appear perfect, for you desire truth in the innermost being. You are not repelled by my brokenness. You are drawn to it, ready to rebuild, ready to redeem, ready to breathe new life. So I stand here, Lord, with empty hands, asking you to cleanse them so that whatever I touch today carries purity and peace. Let my hands be quick to serve and slow to harm. Let them be gentle where harshness once ruled. Let them be steady where fear once trembled. With these hands washed by grace, I want to lift others instead of tearing them down, to build bridges instead of walls, to heal instead of wound. I ask you also to guard my lips. May they not pour out careless words that cut or divide. Let my speech be seasoned with kindness and framed with honesty. What I say reflect the cleansing you are working me now. Let my voice bring comfort instead of criticism, blessing instead of curses, life instead of despair. And in my mind, Lord, seal the transformation. Let my thoughts be captivated by what is pure and noble. Let them dwell on hope instead of fear, on truth instead of lies, on peace instead of turmoil. Let my inner world be as cleansed as my outer words and actions, so that I may walk whole, not fragmented. Father, as the morning grows brighter, I thank you that I do not have to drag the weight of yesterday into the hours ahead. You have given me a chance to rise renewed, to walk differently, to live with clean hands and a pure heart. I embrace that gift with gratitude. I choose to remain in it with vigilance. I trust that you will continue to refine me throughout this day, shaping me more into the likeness of your Son. I rest in the assurance that nothing I confess here disqualifies me from your love. Nothing I surrender here is wasted. Every tear, every broken confession, every whispered admission is caught by you and turned into soil where new growth can spring forth. In that confidence, I lift my eyes to the horizon, ready to step into a day not chained by guilt but marked by grace, not driven by fear but carried by mercy, not defined by my failures but redefined by your forgiveness. Father, as I rise from the place of repentance and feel the cleansing of your mercy over me, I find myself looking back with gratitude for the countless times you have carried me when I could not walk on my own. The dawn grows brighter, and with each ray of light, I remember the journeys where darkness seemed unending, yet your hand guided me through. I do not want to forget what you have done. Forgetting would rob me of the strength that comes from knowing you have never abandoned me. This morning, I choose to remember and let those memories become anchors for my faith. Lord, I recall the seasons when fear surrounded me like high walls. I remember nights when sleep would not come because worry pressed too heavily. And yet, in those moments, you provided a way, a quiet whisper in the silence, a door that opened when I thought every path was shut, a friend who reached out with encouragement at the perfect time. Those were not accidents. They were your fingerprints. You saw me in the valley, and you reminded me that even shadows must bow to your presence. God, I think of the times when my resources ran dry, when I did not know how the needs of the day would be met, yet provision came, sometimes small and humble, other times abundant and overwhelming. You used unexpected hands, unlikely places, and unforeseen moments to remind me that I am not sustained by my own strength, but by your faithfulness. Each moment of provision became a stone of remembrance in my life, a marker of your goodness that points me back to trust. I remember also the healing you have brought, not only to my body, but to my soul. Wounds I thought would never close have been soothed by your touch. Grief I believed would consume me has been softened by your comfort. Disappointments that once left me bitter have been reshaped into testimonies of growth. You turned pain into perspective, loss into lessons, and trials into testimonies. These memories breathe courage into me now, for if you have done it before, I know you can do it again. Father, I do not want my memory to be selective, recalling only the hurts and forgetting the rescues. Too often I dwell on what went wrong and overlook what you made right. But this morning I shift my gaze. I replay the victories you have written into my story. I rehearse the faithfulness that has carried me here. Each breath I take is proof that you are not done with me yet. Each sunrise is evidence that your mercies are new. Lord, let these memories become fuel for my declarations today. When doubt whispers that I cannot endure, I will answer with the record of your strength. When fear insists that the battle is too great, I will counter with the history of your victories. When despair tells me the story is over, I will remind my soul that you have written endings before, and you will do it again. My past with you is not simply history. It is prophecy, pointing forward to what you are yet to do. God, I thank you for the people you have used as vessels of your kindness. Friends who prayed when I could not find words. Mentors who spoke wisdom when I was lost. Even strangers whose actions became signs of your care. Each one was part of the tapestry of grace you wove over me. Remind me to cherish those threads, to see in them not just human kindness, but divine orchestration. And let me in turn become such a thread for others, carrying reminders of your goodness into their lives. I choose today to write these remembrances on the tablet of my heart. I will not let them fade into forgetfulness. I will tell them again to my own soul. I will speak them aloud in moments of weakness, and I will pass them down so that future generations may know the God who never forsakes. Like the stones placed by the river in ancient times, may my life carry visible markers of your faithfulness, so that anyone who looks can see the testimony of a God who saves. Father, as I bring to mind what you have already done, I sense a stirring of courage. The problems before me no longer look as heavy, for they are small compared to the mountains you have already moved. The fears that whisper lose their volume in the presence of remembered truth. The uncertainty of tomorrow is softened by the certainty of your track record. You have never failed me, and you will not begin now. So I step into this day with a heart rehearsing gratitude. I choose to see not only the challenges, but also the opportunities to witness your hand again. I choose to approach not with dread, but with expectation. For the same God who parted seas, who opened prison doors, who calmed storms, and who raised the broken to life, is the same God who walks with me into this morning. I hold that truth close, and I let it be the lens through which I see everything else. Lord, let my memory become my weapon. Let it silence the lies of the enemy and steady my spirit when waves rise. Let it guard me from despair and strengthen me in obedience. And above all, let it remind me not only of what you have done for me, but of who you are unchanging, faithful, near, and true. As the sun climbs higher and light fills the earth, so let my soul be filled with the light of remembrance. Let gratitude be the first song of my lips. Let faith be the steady rhythm of my heart. And let hope, born from the memory of your goodness, guide my steps into the day that unfolds before me. Father, as I dwell on the memories of your faithfulness and let gratitude rise within me, I realize that every act of rescue, every provision, every healing has been rooted in who I am to you. You did not save me because of my performance. You saved me because I belong to you. You did not provide because I earned it. You provided because you call me your child. This morning, before I step into the duties that await me, I want to settle my heart again in the truth of my identity. Lord, too often I rush into activity, measuring my worth by what I accomplish, comparing myself against others, or striving to prove I am good enough. But your voice calls me back, reminding me that before I do anything, I am already loved. I do not have to manufacture belonging, for I have been adopted into your family by grace. I do not have to strive for recognition, for my name is already written in heaven. I do not have to fight for approval, for I stand accepted in your sight through the sacrifice of your Son. God, I bring before you the false labels that I have carried, words spoken by others, judgments formed in my own mind, the echo of past failures that try to tell me I am defined by mistakes. I lay them at your feet. They are not my true name. My identity is not tied to the wounds of my past or the expectations of this world. My identity is tied to the declaration you spoke when you called me beloved. That word has more authority than any insult, any lie, or any accusation. Father, remind me that I am not what I do, not what I own, not what others think of me. I am yours. This truth is simple, yet it holds the power to silence the voices that drive me into endless striving. When I forget it, I become restless. When I remember it, I find peace. Help me to carry that peace into every interaction, into every task, into every choice today. Lord, clothe me with the robe of righteousness you have placed on me. Let me walk in the assurance that I am not naked in shame, but covered in your love. Place the signet ring of authority on my hand, so that I remember I have been given the right to stand as your representative, not as an impostor, but as an heir. Set sandals on my feet, so that I walk not as a wanderer, but as one with purpose, moving in step with your calling. God, I ask you to guard my heart from the subtle temptation to define myself by success or failure. When things go well, remind me that my worth does not inflate with achievements. When things fall apart, remind me that my value does not diminish with disappointments. Anchor me in the unshakable truth that I am loved because of who you are, not because of what I can do. Father, help me to rest in the security of being chosen. The world may overlook, people may reject, but you have called me by name. That call cannot be revoked. That invitation cannot be rescinded. Your love is not fragile, nor is it conditional. It holds me steady in every season, and it will not let me go. Let this awareness sink into every fiber of my being until it becomes the lens through which I see myself and others. Lord, let this identity shape the way I live today. Instead of striving for applause, let me serve quietly with joy. Instead of chasing recognition, let me walk humbly with integrity. Instead of fearing rejection, let me stand confidently in your acceptance. Instead of doubting my place, let me rest in the truth that I am already seated with Christ in heavenly places. God, where shame has tried to cling to me, wash it away with the assurance of belonging. Where insecurity has whispered lies, replace it with the steady voice of truth. Where comparison has stolen joy, restore my eyes to see the unique beauty of the story you are writing in me. Let my heart beat with the rhythm of one who knows they are loved without condition. treasured without measure, and held without fear of abandonment. Father, as I embrace this identity, let me also see others through the same lens. If I am beloved, then so are they. If I am forgiven, then so are they invited to forgiveness. If I am chosen, then so are they welcomed into the family. Remove from me the pride that divides and the arrogance that compares. Replace it with compassion that embraces and humility that serves. Let my life reflect not only who I am in you, but who they can be through you as well. Lord, I lift to you the temptation to root my confidence in titles, possessions, or the opinions of others. Strip away the illusion that any of these can sustain me. They are fragile and fleeting. Only you remain. Only your word endures. Only your love defines me. Let me walk in that simplicity, unshaken by the shifting tides of circumstance or the fickle voices of approval. God, I ask that as I step into the responsibilities of this day, I would remember that identity comes before activity. I am not valuable because of what I will do today. I am valuable because I am yours. I am not beloved because of my productivity. I am beloved because of your grace. Let this truth free me from the burden of proving myself. Let it release me into the joy of simply being with you, and from that place, serving with love. Father, let this awareness quiet the anxieties that stir in me when I feel inadequate. Let it silence the doubts that question my worth. Let it remind me that I can walk with confidence, not because I am flawless, but because I am chosen. And as I live in that confidence, let me bring hope to others who are searching for belonging, reminding them by my words and actions that they too are seen, valued, and loved. So as the morning continues to unfold and the day awaits, I rest in this truth. I am not defined by what I do, but by who I am in you. I am beloved. I am redeemed. I am yours. Let this identity guide every thought, every decision, and every step I take from this moment forward. Lord, having settled in the truth that my worth is rooted in belonging to you and not in anything I achieve, I now bring before you the weight of fear that so often tries to creep back into my heart. Even as I declare my identity in you, I feel the subtle tremors of anxiety attempting to rise. The quiet whispers that tell me I am not safe, that danger is near, that what lies ahead will overwhelm me. Yet I know that fear has no rightful place in a life anchored in your love. I come to you asking for courage to silence its voice and strength to stand firm in the peace you promise. Father, I admit how easily fear disguises itself. Sometimes it shows up as worry about tomorrow, other times as hesitation when new opportunities come. It can appear in the quiet dread of loss or in the gnawing thought that I am not enough. It tightens my chest, unsettles my sleep, and distracts my focus. But this morning, before these fears grow into chains, I place them into your hands. I choose to confront them not with denial, but with faith. I will not let fear dictate my decisions, nor will I let it steal the joy of this new day. God, your word declares that you have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I hold on to that truth and speak it into my soul. Fear does not originate from you, so I reject it. I renounce the agreements I have made with its lies. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, I break every partnership with the thoughts that tell me I am powerless, unprotected, or abandoned. I exchange those lies for the reality that I am guarded, empowered, and deeply loved by you, Lord. When fear whispers that my future is uncertain, remind me that you hold every tomorrow. When it insists that harm will come, remind me that you are my refuge and fortress. When it says, I cannot withstand the storm, remind me that you calm seas with a single word. Let your promises be louder than the panic that tries to rise. Let your peace be stronger than the unrest that seeks to enter. Let your truth be the shield that guards my heart and mind. Father, I ask you to fill the spaces fear has occupied with your presence, where dread has stolen courage. Pour boldness where anxiety has drained energy. Breathe strength where insecurity has whispered defeat. Speak destiny. Let my heart learn to rest in the assurance that nothing can touch me outside of your will, and everything that does come is filtered through your love. I remember times when fear tried to paralyze me, yet you carried me through. I think of moments when I trembled, but you gave me the courage to step forward anyway. Those memories remind me that fear does not have the final word. They remind me that even when I feel weak, you remain strong. As I face this day, I choose to stand on the record of your faithfulness, rather than the echoes of fear. Lord, I pray not only for the absence of fear, but for the presence of peace, a peace that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that settles me in the middle of uncertainty, a peace that cannot be shaken by the shifting winds of life. Wrap that peace around my heart like a cloak, steady my breathing, and quiet the restless thoughts that spin in my mind. Let that peace guide my steps and anchor my decisions. God, I also bring before you the fears that touch the lives of those I love. I ask you to surround them with the same assurance I seek today. Let your presence be tangible in their struggles. Let them sense your hand covering them, shielding them, and calming them where they are tempted to despair. Lift them up with hope where they feel overwhelmed. Steady them with your strength where they face dangers unseen. Guard them with your angels. Father, teach me to see fear as an opportunity to trust you more deeply each time it rises. May it serve as a reminder to look toward you, not away. Let it become a signal that I need your voice, not a sentence of defeat. Let it drive me into prayer rather than into panic. Let it press me into intimacy with you rather than distance me in shame. Transform fear from a prison into a doorway to greater faith. Lord, I ask you to train my heart to speak truth aloud when fear attacks, to declare your promises until they silence the noise of doubt, to recite your word as a weapon sharper than every lie, to call upon your name with confidence, knowing that at the mention of Jesus every fear must bow. Let my tongue become a source of courage, my mind a well of peace, and my spirit a fortress of trust. God, replace the narrative of fear with a vision of faith. Instead of imagining disaster, let me imagine breakthroughs. Instead of picturing failure, let me see growth. Instead of expecting loss, let me anticipate blessing. Retrain my imagination to align with your goodness, so that even when uncertainty comes, my heart remains steady in hope. Father, as this morning unfolds, I refuse to let fear steal my strength. I will not carry its weight into my conversations, my work, or my rest. I will not let it decide the posture of my heart or the direction of my steps. I declare that fear is dethroned and peace reigns instead. I step into this day not with trembling, but with quiet confidence, knowing that the one who walks with me is greater than anything I face. So here I stand, free from the agreements that once bound me, ready to live this day not under the shadow of fear, but under the covering of your love. Let courage rise where fear once ruled. Let faith take root where doubt once grew. Let peace fill the spaces where unrest once dwelled. And let the light of this morning remind me again that darkness has no claim over a heart held in your hands. Father, having laid aside fear and embraced the peace that flows from trusting you, I now bring before you the frailty of my body. Though my spirit longs for strength, I know the vessel that carries it is often weary, often weak, and sometimes marked by pain that lingers longer than I wish. I will not hide these struggles from you, for you are not distant from my needs. You know every cell, every muscle, every heartbeat, and every hidden place within me. You knit me together in the beginning, and even now, you sustain every breath I take. Lord, I place before you the aches that weigh me down. I think of the fatigue that sometimes drains my energy, of the discomfort that interrupts my rest, of the limitations that remind me of my humanity. I acknowledge them, not as signs of defeat, but as invitations to depend more deeply on your healing power. You are the one who restores what is broken, who breathes life into dry bones, who touches the weak and makes them whole again. Let your hand rest upon me in this very moment, and let healing flow where pain has lingered. God, I ask for renewal in every part of me. From the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, let health rise like the morning sun. Strengthen my bones, steady my joints, refresh my blood, and align every organ to function as you designed it. Where there is imbalance, bring correction. Where there is sickness, bring restoration. Where there is exhaustion, breathe new vitality. Let my body be an instrument of service, not hindered by affliction, but energized by your Spirit. Father, I lift up the awareness that comes not only from illness, but from the burdens of daily life. Long hours, heavy responsibilities, and restless nights have left their marks. Yet I know you are the giver of true rest, the one who restores the soul and strengthens the frame. Teach me to find rhythms of renewal in you, to embrace the pauses that heal, and to treat my body not as a tool to be pushed beyond its limits, but as a temple to be cared for with reverence. Lord, I also bring before you the unseen battles of health, the anxieties about diagnosis, the fear of what test results may reveal, the uncertainty of treatments, the long waiting for recovery. Speak calm into those anxieties, replacing dread with trust. Let hope rise stronger than fear. Guide the hands of doctors, nurses, and caregivers who serve as extensions of your care. Grant them wisdom, precision, and compassion in every decision. Surround me with the assurance that I am not facing these challenges alone. God, I thank you for the times you have already healed me, for the moments when strength returned unexpectedly, for the nights when rest was deeper than I deserved, for the days when pain eased and I could breathe freely again. Each of those moments was a reminder that you are attentive to my needs. They were not random. They were your grace breaking through. And because I have seen your hand before, I choose to believe that I will see it again. Father, I pray also for those whose bodies are even now struggling under the weight of sickness. Friends and loved ones who face chronic illness, who endure surgeries, who lie in hospital rooms waiting for relief. I lift them into your presence, asking that your healing touch reach them where they are. Surround them with comfort, guard them with peace, and strengthen them with courage. Remind them that their pain is not ignored, that their cries are not unheard. Let them feel the nearness of your compassion, even in their darkest nights. Lord, I ask for discipline to honor this body you have entrusted to me. Help me to nourish it with what brings life, to rest it when it grows weary, to move it with gratitude, and to treat it as the dwelling place of your Spirit. Keep me from abusing it through neglect or excess. Teach me balance, wisdom, and care. And when I fail, draw me back to practices that honor the gift of life you have given. God, I also recognize that ultimate healing is not only about the absence of pain, but about wholeness that flows from you. Sometimes you mend through miracles, sometimes through medicine, and sometimes through endurance that shapes the soul. However you choose to work, I place myself fully into your hands. I will not demand a specific outcome, but I will trust that whatever you do will be for my good and your glory. Father, let this day be marked by renewed energy. Let my steps be steady, my breath be strong, my eyes be clear, and my hands be ready for the tasks before me. Keep me from discouragement when weakness tries to return. Teach me to speak life over my body, to declare health over my frame, and to resist the temptation to surrender to despair. Let my very being proclaim that I am cared for by a faithful God. Lord, may my healing not be for my sake alone, but for the blessing of others. Use my strength to serve, my recovery to encourage, and my testimony to inspire hope. Let those who see me walk in renewed health know that it was your hand that sustained me, and let me never forget to give thanks, even for the smallest signs of progress. So as this morning unfolds, I stand in faith, believing that healing is possible, that restoration is near, and that strength will rise again. I place every ache, every wound, and every weakness into your care, knowing that nothing is beyond your reach. And I step into this day with the quiet assurance that my body, though fragile, is held securely in the embrace of your unfailing love. Father, as I thank you for the restoration you bring to my body, I realize that my soul and my mind also cry out for healing, even when my strength is renewed and my steps are steady. My inner world can still feel fractured, weighed down by burdens no one else sees. I know that the wounds of the heart can be deeper than the wounds of the flesh, and the storms of the mind can be fiercer than any visible battle. So this morning, I come to you with honesty, bringing before you the tangled thoughts, the heavy emotions, and the restless questions that I cannot untangle on my own. Lord, you know the patterns of my mind better than I do. You see how easily I fall into cycles of doubt, replaying conversations long past, rehearsing failures as if they still hold power, imagining outcomes that have not yet come. These thoughts drain me and keep me from resting in the peace you offer. I confess that I often let them run unchecked, forgetting that I can take them captive and lay them before you. Teach me, Lord, to recognize when my thoughts are leading me toward despair, and give me the courage to interrupt them with truth. God, I ask you to replace lies with your promises. Where my mind tells me I am unworthy, speak the reminder that I am chosen and loved. Where it whispers that my future is bleak, breathe the assurance that you hold every tomorrow. Where it replays words that wounded me, let me hear instead the steady voice of your Spirit declaring life and hope. Let my imagination no longer be a playground for fear, but a canvas where faith paints visions of what is possible with you. Father, I bring to you also the memories that still ache. Some days they feel like open wounds, other days like faint scars, but either way they shape how I see myself and the world. I do not want to be trapped in the past, but I cannot deny that pieces of it still cling to me. Step into those memories, Lord. Redeem what was broken, comfort what was lost, and transform what was painful into wisdom that strengthens me instead of chains that bind me. Where bitterness has tried to take root, let forgiveness flow. Where grief has settled, let hope rise like the morning sun. Lord, I acknowledge that my emotions are often unpredictable. There are days when sadness lingers without reason, days when anger flares without warning, and days when anxiety hums beneath the surface of every moment. But you are greater than my emotions. You do not reject me for feeling them. Instead, you invite me to bring them into your presence. So I lay them here, asking you to regulate what is unbalanced, to soothe what is agitated, to lift what is heavy, and to calm what is restless. Let my emotions be shaped by your Spirit so that they no longer control me, but instead draw me closer to you. God, I ask for the renewal of my mind, not just the removal of negative thoughts, but the infusion of new patterns shaped by truth. Help me to meditate on what is pure, noble, lovely, and praiseworthy. Teach me to rehearse gratitude instead of worry, hope instead of dread, love instead of suspicion. Let my inner dialogue be filled with reminders of your goodness instead of rehearsals of fear. When lies creep in, make me quick to answer with your word. When confusion rises, let clarity come from your wisdom. When doubt speaks, let faith interrupt. Father, I long for stillness in a world that constantly pulls my attention in 100 directions. Silence often feels elusive, but I know that even in the middle of noise, I can find a quiet center in you. Teach me the discipline of pausing, even if only for a few breaths, to acknowledge your presence. Let those moments become wells of peace that sustain me through the busiest hours. May my soul learn to rest in you, not just at dawn, but throughout the entire day. Lord, I lift to you the areas where my self-image is distorted. Too often I measure my value by how others perceive me. by accomplishments achieved, or by mistakes avoided. These measures leave me empty and chasing validation that never satisfies. Restore my sight so I can see myself as you see me, beloved. Purposeful and precious in your eyes. Let that truth sink into the deepest places of my soul until it becomes the foundation on which I stand. God, I ask also for courage to bring my hidden struggles into the light. Sometimes shame tells me to stay silent, convincing me that no one will understand. But you remind me that healing often begins when truth is spoken. Give me discernment to know who to trust with my story, and surround me with voices that speak life instead of judgment. Let community become a channel of your healing, reminding me that I do not have to carry the weight of my soul alone. Father, as you heal my mind and soul, let me become an agent of healing for others. Use the comfort you give me to comfort those around me. Let the peace you pour into me overflow into my words, my actions, and my presence. Where others are weighed down by despair, let them find encouragement through me. Where they are overwhelmed by worry, let them sense calm. Where they feel unseen, let them encounter your love through the way I care. Lord, I entrust my soul and mind into your hands today. I know that healing is a process, and I will not always feel complete, but I trust that you are at work, even when I cannot see it, even when I cannot feel it. Step by step, moment by moment, you are renewing me, reshaping me, and teaching me to live in freedom. I will not despise small progress, for I know it is evidence of your hand. I will not give in to despair when setbacks come, for I know you never leave me halfway. So as the morning deepens and light grows stronger, I breathe deeply and rest in the assurance that my inner world is not forgotten by you. My soul is seen, my mind is understood, my heart is held, and even in the places still in need of healing, I am safe in your embrace, carried by the grace that makes all things new. Father, as I rest in the assurance that my soul and mind are being renewed in your presence, my thoughts turn now to the ones you have placed closest to me. I cannot walk in peace without lifting up those who share my home, those who carry pieces of my heart, those whose lives are interwoven with mine in the daily rhythms of family. I bring them before you, not with anxious hands gripping tightly, but with open palms, entrusting each of them to your perfect care. Lord, I ask for your covering to rest upon my household. Let every room be filled with the atmosphere of your presence, every corner guarded by your angels, every doorpost marked by the promise of safety in you. May our home not only be a shelter from storms, but a sanctuary where your spirit dwells. Let laughter echo in its walls. Let forgiveness flow through its halls. Let kindness shape every conversation. And let peace settle over us like a steady blanket that cannot be shaken away. God, I bring each member of my family before you by name, for you know their needs even better than I do. You see their hearts, their struggles, their questions, and their hopes. Where they feel weak, be their strength. Where they are uncertain, be their guide. Where they are wounded, be their healer. Surround them with grace so tangible that they sense it as they wake, as they work, as they rest, and as they dream. Father, I ask you to guard their minds from lies that would lead them astray. Protect them from influences that would cloud their judgment or steal their joy. Shield their eyes from what corrupts, their ears from what deceives, and their hearts from what hardens. Instead, fill them with discernment, with a love for truth, with wisdom that grows deep roots, and with courage to stand firm in the face of pressure. Lord, I pray for harmony in our relationships. Where there has been tension, let reconciliation take root. Where unspoken hurts linger, bring gentle words and tender hearts. Where misunderstandings have built walls, replace them with bridges of patience and empathy. Remind us that we are not meant to fight against each other, but to fight for one another. Teach us to listen with compassion, to speak with honesty, and to forgive with grace. God, I ask you to bless the work of their hands and the dreams of their hearts. May their efforts be fruitful, their steps directed, and their goals aligned with your will. Protect them from discouragement when plans shift, and give them resilience to rise again when they stumble. Let them know that their value is not tied to achievement, but to the unchanging truth that they are loved by you. Father, place a hedge of protection around the children in my family. Guard their innocence, guide their choices, and raise them up to walk with boldness in your truth. Surround them with good friends who uplift and not mislead, with mentors who inspire and not distort, with opportunities that shape their character for good. May their laughter be genuine, their questions met with wisdom, and their future anchored in hope. Lord, I lift up also the elders of my family, those who carry years of wisdom and experience. Bless them with strength in their bodies, clarity in their minds, and peace in their spirits. Let them feel honored and valued, not forgotten or overlooked. Surround them with comfort and companionship. Remind them that their legacy matters, and that their prayers still ripple across generations with eternal impact. God, I ask you to guard the coming and going of everyone under roof. As they step out into the world, go before them as a shield. As they return, let them bring peace back into our home. Keep accidents far, keep harm away, keep destruction out. Let no scheme formed against them succeed, and let no shadow steal the light of joy within them. Father, make my home a place where your name is honored, where gratitude rises naturally, where hospitality flows generously, and where faith is nurtured in both word and action. Let us be known not for possessions or accomplishments, but for love that reflects yours. Let every guest who enters feel peace before a word is spoken. Let our home be a testimony that you are near, alive, and faithful. Lord, I ask you to teach me to be a servant in my household, not seeking to control but to care, not demanding but giving, not holding grudges but extending grace. Let me model what it means to live surrendered to you, so that my family may see in me a reflection of your kindness and patience. Let my words bring encouragement, my actions show love, and my presence bring calm. God, where I fail as a family member, cover my shortcomings with your mercy. Where I miss moments to speak life, redeem them with new opportunities. Where I have caused pain, grant me courage to seek forgiveness. And where I feel weary in carrying responsibility, Remind me that you are the ultimate caretaker, the one who watches even when I sleep. Father, I give you my household. Every laugh, every tear, every conflict, every celebration, every ordinary moment belongs to you. Shape our family story into one that reflects your grace. Teach us to stand together when storms come, to celebrate together when victories arrive, and to keep our eyes fixed on you in all seasons. So as I step into this day, I do so with confidence that my loved ones are not unguarded. They are seen, they are cherished, and they are held by the same hands that hold me. And in that assurance, I find peace enough not only for myself, but for every heart that shares this home. Father, as I entrust my household into your care and ask for your covering over those I love, I now bring before you the work of my hands and the responsibilities that lie ahead in this day. My family is precious, and I know that one of the ways you provide for them is through the calling and tasks you have entrusted to me. I do not see my work as separate from my faith. For every effort, every decision, and every opportunity can become an offering when laid at your feet. Lord, I confess that sometimes work feels heavy, filled with demands that stretch me thin or pressures that leave me weary. There are moments when deadlines intimidate me, when goals feel impossible, when obstacles rise unexpectedly. Yet I remember that you are not only concerned with my prayers in the quiet of dawn, but also with the conversations in the office, the projects at hand, the labor that fills my hours. So I dedicate this day's work to you. May it not simply be a means of survival, but a testimony of your faithfulness in the ordinary. God, I ask for wisdom to approach my responsibilities with clarity and creativity. Teach me to see solutions where problems appear overwhelming, to find order where chaos seems to rule, and to carry patience when frustration is near. Let my work not only reflect skill, but also integrity. Guard me from shortcuts that compromise truth, from ambitions that ignore compassion, from choices that elevate self at the cost of others. Shape my labor so that it blesses both those I serve and those who walk beside me. Father, I also lift to you the uncertainty that sometimes surrounds my vocation. There are seasons when doors seem closed, when progress feels stalled, when dreams seem distant. In those moments, remind me that provision is not defined by human timing, but by your perfect plan. Help me to trust that even when opportunities seem scarce, you are still the one who multiplies resources, who opens unexpected paths, who turns small beginnings into great testimonies. Lord, I pray for favor in the eyes of those I encounter today. Let colleagues, supervisors, and clients see not only my efforts, but the character that comes from walking with you. Let honesty and reliability become the reputation I carry. Where there is competition, let me remain steady. Where there is conflict, let me be an instrument of peace. Where there is collaboration, let me contribute with joy. May every meeting, every task, every conversation be infused with grace. God, I ask you to protect me from the fear of lack. Scarcity whispers that there will not be enough, that my efforts will fail, that my labor will not meet the needs of my family, but I choose to silence those lies with your promises. You are Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides. You have always made a way before, and you will not fail now. Remind me that provision flows not only through paychecks or profits, but through opportunities, relationships, ideas, and blessings unseen. Let me rest in the assurance that my needs are known and my future secure in your hands. Father, help me to approach my work with balance. Guard me from idolizing it, from letting it consume my identity, from pouring myself into it so much that I neglect the people I love or the rest my soul requires. Teach me to see work as important, but not ultimate, valuable but not defining. Let me labor faithfully while remembering that at the end of each day, my worth lies not in my performance, but in being yours, Lord. I also pray for those who are seeking employment, for those who labor without recognition, for those whose work feels thankless or whose wages are unjust. I lift them into your care, asking that doors of opportunity would open, that dignity would be restored, that provision would meet their needs. Use me, if possible, to be a channel of encouragement, generosity, or advocacy for those in such places. Let my awareness of their struggles remind me to hold gratitude for the blessings I often take for granted. God, I ask that my work would be more than a task list, more than a series of completed duties. Let it become a place where I live out my calling, where I bring light into environments that may feel heavy, where I reflect patience and kindness, even when stress abounds. Make my desk, my tools, my projects into altars of worship, where every act, no matter how small, is offered back to you. Father, bless also the financial provision that flows from my labor. Guard my heart from greed and discontent. Teach me to steward resources wisely, to save with prudence, to give with generosity, to spend with discernment. May my finances not control me, but serve as tools for blessing others, for sustaining my household, and for advancing the good you have called me to. Remind me that everything I hold is first yours, entrusted for a purpose greater than myself. Lord, let me carry joy into my vocation today, even when the work is difficult or monotonous. Let me remember that diligence honors you. Let gratitude shape the tone of my effort. Let excellence mark the quality of my work, and let kindness flavor every interaction. May those who see me at work see more than skill. They see evidence of a heart anchored in faith. God, I surrender my career path, my ambitions, and my future into your care. Whether you call me to remain where I am or lead me to new places, I will follow. Whether the season is one of abundance or of scarcity, I will trust. Whether the recognition comes or not, I will serve as if I am working directly for you. Let my vocation become more than a means of livelihood. It becomes a ministry, a daily opportunity to reflect your goodness in tangible ways. So as I step into the hours ahead, I do so with the confidence that my work is not unnoticed, my provision is not uncertain, and my calling is not insignificant. Everything I do today, from the simplest task to the most challenging decision, is held in the hands of the one who provides, who directs, and who blesses beyond measure. Father, As I entrust my work and vocation into your hands, I recognize how deeply I depend on your guidance. My labor, my decisions, and my relationships all require more wisdom than I can produce on my own. I know how quickly I can lose focus, how easily I can be swayed by convenience or appearances, how often I stand at crossroads uncertain of which way to turn. So this morning, before I step further into the day, I ask you to guide my path with clarity that only comes from you, Lord. I admit there are times when I want control, when I think I can plan every detail and secure every outcome. Yet those attempts often leave me restless, because I am not meant to carry the weight of foresight alone. You see the whole picture where I only glimpse a fragment. You know the future while I wrestle with the present. You hold answers that I have not even thought to ask. So I release my grip on certainty and ask you to be my compass, to direct each step with steady hands. God, your word says that if I acknowledge you in all my ways, you will make my path straight. I hold on to that promise today. Make me attentive to your voice, sensitive to your promptings, quick to obey when you nudge me forward, and willing to pause when you call me to wait. Help me to distinguish between distraction and direction, between noise and truth, between my own desires and your perfect will. Father, I ask you to guide my mind when choices rise before me. In conversations where words matter, let me speak with wisdom and not haste. In moments of decision where paths diverge, let me choose not what seems easiest, but what leads toward life and integrity. In opportunities that appear appealing, remind me to test them against your peace. For not every open door is meant for me to walk through. Teach me to listen, to seek counsel, and to weigh everything in light of your Spirit. Lord, I lift to you the places where I feel confusion. Sometimes the road ahead looks foggy, the options tangled, the risks too heavy to weigh. In those moments, remind me that uncertainty is not failure, that waiting is not wasted time, and that silence can be filled with your quiet direction. Let me not rush ahead out of fear, nor freeze in place out of doubt, but walk steadily, trusting that you will reveal what I need to know at the right moment. God, I ask for discernment not only for myself, but also for those around me. Surround me with voices that speak truth and not deception, with friends who encourage faith and not fear, with mentors who reflect wisdom and not pride. Protect me from counsel that would lead me astray or push me toward compromise. Teach me to value correction when it is given in love, to sift through advice with humility, and to hold every word up to the light of your truth. Father, I ask you to guide not just the big decisions, but also the small ones. Choices about how I spend my time, how I respond in conversation, how I handle resources, how I carry myself through the ordinary hours. These decisions, though small, shape the course of my life as much as the grand ones. Let me not underestimate their impact. Let me walk faithfully in the little so that I am ready for the greater. Lord, I also ask for courage to follow the path you set before me. Even when it is difficult, guidance means little if I lack the boldness to obey. Remove the hesitation that rises when obedience seems costly. Silence the doubts that ask if I heard you correctly. Strengthen me when the path looks narrow, when the climb looks steep, When the road feels lonely, remind me that I do not walk it alone, for you go before me, and where you lead, you also provide. God, I lift to you the dreams I carry, the visions that stir in my heart, the desires that seem too large for me to reach. If they are from you, breathe life into them. Open doors that no man can shut. Provide resources, connections, and opportunities that align with your will. And if they are not from you, gently remove them so I do not waste energy chasing what was never meant to be mine. Teach me to delight in your will, trusting that your plans far exceed my imagination. Father, let my heart be aligned with yours, so that I do not just seek direction for my benefit, but for your glory. Guide me not only to places of success, but to places of service. Lead me not only to opportunities that advance me, but to those that bless others. Redirect me when selfishness clouds my vision. Keep me from walking paths that harm others or compromise my integrity. Let every step I take today be one that reflects your goodness to the world. Lord, I ask for peace as I follow your leading. The unknown can feel intimidating, but your presence steadies me. Replace fear of the future with confidence in your hand. Replace anxiety over outcomes with trust in your character. Replace the pressure to know every detail with the assurance that knowing you is enough. Let my heart rest in the truth that the one who leads me is faithful, kind, and unfailing. God, as the day unfolds and choices present themselves, I will lean into your wisdom. I will pause before I rush. I will listen before I speak. I will seek your face before I act. And when the day ends, may I look back and see not only my footsteps, but the imprint of your guidance shaping every moment. For if you are the one leading me, I cannot be lost. And if you are the one directing me, I cannot be without purpose. Father, as I seek your guidance for the steps before me, I realize that every path also brings its share of temptations. They come quietly, often disguised as harmless choices, sometimes dressed as opportunities, other times hidden in my own desires. I cannot rely on my own strength to resist them, for I know how easily I can stumble when I trust only myself. So I come to you, asking for the power to stand firm, the discernment to recognize deception, and the courage to choose what is right even when it is costly. Lord, I confess that temptation rarely announces itself loudly. It comes in subtle thoughts, in quiet compromises, in the gentle pull to take an easier way. It appeals to my impatience, to my pride, to my longing for comfort or recognition. It tells me that no one will notice, that the choice is small, that the cost is insignificant. But I know that every compromise plants a seed, and every seed bears fruit. I do not want to grow a harvest of regret. I want to sow integrity, truth, and faithfulness. God, I ask you to strengthen my mind so that I can identify lies before they take root. When temptation whispers that I will be satisfied if I give in, remind me that true satisfaction is found only in you. When it insists that I will be safe in secrecy, remind me that nothing is hidden from your sight. When it says I am too weak to resist, remind me that your strength is made perfect in my weakness. Let your truth be louder than any deception. Father, I pray for purity of heart and intention. Guard my motives from selfish ambition, from jealousy, from resentment, from greed. Cleanse me of any desire that would lead me away from you. Replace unhealthy cravings with a hunger for righteousness, a thirst for holiness, and a longing to please you above all else. Let my heart beat with sincerity so that even in private moments, my choices honor you. Lord, I ask for vigilance in the moments when I feel wary. Temptation often waits for times when my defenses are down, when exhaustion clouds my judgment, when discouragement makes me vulnerable. In those moments, lift my eyes to you. Remind me that even when I am tired, I can run to your presence for refuge. Teach me to pause, to breathe, to call on your name before acting in haste. Give me strength to walk away when staying would lead me astray. God, surround me with accountability. Place people in my life who encourage me toward faithfulness, who are not afraid to speak truth when they see me drifting, who carry me in prayer when I am weak. Keep me from isolation that leaves me vulnerable. Instead, let me walk in the safety of community, where honesty and encouragement help me resist what I could not resist alone. Father, I bring before you the specific areas where temptation tries to grip me, whether in thought, in speech, in action, or in desire. I lay them down at your feet. You know the struggles that return again and again. You know the patterns I have tried to break in my own strength. Teach me not only to resist, but to replace. Instead of feeding the temptation, help me to fill the space with your word, with worship, with service, with gratitude. Lord, I ask for resilience when I stumble. I know there will be times when I fail, when I choose wrongly, when I let weakness win. In those moments, keep me from sinking into shame. Remind me that I can return to you, that forgiveness is real, that grace is greater than failure. Let my repentance be quick, my return sincere, and my resolve renewed. Do not let failure define me, but let it become a stepping stone toward deeper dependence on you. God, I also ask for boldness to flee from situations that stir temptation. Teach me not to test the edges of compromise, but to run towards safety. Let me not play with fire expecting not to be burned. Instead, help me to set healthy boundaries, to guard my eyes, my ears, my heart, and my mind. Let me not underestimate the power of influence, but choose wisely what I allow to shape me. Father, give me courage to choose obedience even when it costs me opportunities, comfort, or approval. Remind me that no temporary gain is worth the loss of peace, no fleeting pleasure worth the weight of regret. Teach me to look beyond the moment and see the lasting impact of my choices. Let me choose the path that leads to life, even if it feels narrow, even if it feels lonely. Lord, I pray also for those around me who are battling their own temptations. Strengthen them with the same grace I ask for myself. Give them clarity to see deception, courage to resist compromise, and hope to rise again when they fall. Let my presence in their lives be a source of encouragement, not a stumbling block. Teach me to walk in such a way that my example helps others choose faithfulness. God, let my heart be so anchored in you that temptation loses its grip. Let my love for you be stronger than any competing desire. Let my trust in your goodness be deeper than any lie that promises fulfillment outside of you. And let my joy in obedience be greater than any fleeting pleasure that sin could offer. So as I face this day, I step forward not in fear of temptation, but in confidence of your power to sustain me. I know the struggles will come, but I also know that you will always provide a way out with every choice, every decision, every thought, and every action. I lean into your strength, trusting that the one who calls me to holiness also gives me the grace to walk in it. Father, as I ask for strength to resist temptation and walk in integrity, I am reminded that my journey with you is not only about avoiding what is wrong, but also about embracing what is right, especially in my relationships with others. Temptation may pull me toward hidden choices, but unforgiveness threatens to weigh down my heart in ways just as destructive. I bring before you the wounds, the disappointments, the betrayals, and the misunderstandings that linger in my soul. I do not want to carry them any longer. This morning I ask for the grace to forgive and the courage to pursue reconciliation where possible. Lord, I confess that forgiveness is not easy. My heart often clings to offense, as if holding it would somehow protect me from being hurt again. My mind replays conversations that cut deep, reminding me of injustices and unkind words. Sometimes I even feel justified in my bitterness, as though nursing the wound gives me power. But deep down, I know it is only a chain that binds me. Unforgiveness does not shield me. It shackles me. Resentment does not heal me. It poisons me. So I lay these burdens before you, trusting that your mercy toward me is the foundation for the mercy I can extend to others. God, I remember the countless times you have forgiven me, every moment of rebellion, every careless word, every selfish thought. You did not withhold grace, nor did you demand repayment before offering love. If you, the Holy One, could release me from debts far greater than anything done against me, how can I withhold forgiveness from those who have wronged me? I do not want to be like the servant who was forgiven much yet refused to forgive little. Teach me to reflect your heart, to release the grip of anger, and to let go of the right to revenge. Father, I ask you to heal the places in me that are still raw. Forgiveness is not simply about words spoken, but about transformation within. Heal the memories that sting, soothe the emotions that flare, and mend the trust that feels shattered, where reconciliation is possible. Give me humility to reach out, patience to listen, and courage to rebuild what was broken where reconciliation is not possible. Grant me peace to release without bitterness, trusting that justice and healing belong ultimately in your hands. Lord, I also bring before you the times I have caused pain to others. I acknowledge the words I should not have spoken, the actions I should not have taken, the moments when my pride or impatience created wounds. Forgive me, Father, and give me the courage to seek forgiveness from those I have hurt. Remove the fear that keeps me silent and replace it with sincerity that seeks to restore what I have damaged. Let my repentance be more than regret. Let it be a step toward reconciliation. God, I pray for families torn apart by grudges, for friendships fractured by betrayal, for communities divided by bitterness. Let your spirit move in those places like healing rain. Soften hardened hearts, open closed ears, and restore what seems beyond repair. Where years of silence have built walls, let grace become the hammer that breaks them down. Where suspicion has grown thick, let understanding take root again. Where anger has carved deep divides, let love flow stronger than resentment. Father, I ask you to protect me from the pride that resists forgiveness. Sometimes it feels safer to stay angry than to risk vulnerability. Sometimes it feels more powerful to withhold love than to extend it. But I know that true strength is found in humility, true freedom in release, true power in choosing love over hate. Teach me to embrace the paradox of your kingdom, where the one who forgives is not weaker but stronger, not diminished but restored. Lord, I also ask you to guard me from bitterness that disguises itself as justice. Yes, I long for wrongs to be made right, but I know that vengeance belongs to you alone. Keep me from the trap of replaying offenses in my mind, as if doing so would balance the scales. Instead, help me to entrust both myself and those who wronged me into your hands, believing that you see, you know, and you will act with perfect wisdom in your time. God, let forgiveness flow so deeply in me that it reshapes the way I see others, instead of defining them by their failures. Help me to see them through the lens of grace. Instead of holding on to what they did, let me remember what you can do in them. Instead of shrinking back from relationship, give me courage to extend kindness, even when it is not returned. Let forgiveness become not just an act but a lifestyle, a posture of heart that mirrors your endless mercy. Father, I know reconciliation is a journey, and not every story resolves quickly. Some wounds take time. Some relationships require rebuilding step by step. Give me patience in the process. Keep me from giving up when progress feels slow. Let me celebrate small steps toward healing. And where reconciliation is not possible, grant me closure through release, allowing me to move forward unchained, carrying peace instead of pain. Lord, let forgiveness mark my life so clearly that others see your reflection in me. Let my children, my friends, and even those who oppose me be able to say that love triumphed over bitterness in my story. Let my words and actions testify that grace is real, that mercy is stronger than resentment, and that reconciliation is possible because of you. So as this morning stretches into day, I walk forward lighter, having released what weighed me down. My heart beats freer, my spirit breathes easier, my steps move with peace. I am not defined by wounds or chained by resentment. I am defined by your mercy and set free by your grace. And from that freedom, I will live and love in a way that brings healing into the world around me. Father, as forgiveness loosens the chains of resentment and reconciliation opens the path toward peace, I am reminded that there are still battles unseen that surround me. Life is not lived in a neutral space. There are forces that seek to harm, to deceive, to destroy. Evil does not always wear a face I recognize, yet its effects press upon me in temptation. Conflict, distraction, and despair. So I turn to you, asking for your covering, for the shield of your presence to guard me from every scheme designed to pull me away from the life you have given. Lord, I know that evil works subtly as much as it does openly. It hides in words that wound, in opportunities that lure, in systems that oppress, in whispers that stir doubt. It feeds on fear, thrives on division, and seeks to twist truth into confusion. I am not unaware of its patterns, but I also know I am not powerless against it. You have promised that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and I cling to that promise this morning. Let every shadow that tries to invade my day be pierced by your light. God, I ask for protection over my mind. Guard my thoughts from lies that masquerade as truth, from despair that disguises itself as realism, from cynicism that corrodes hope. Surround my inner life with your peace, so that I am not swayed by fear or manipulated by deception. Let my mind be renewed continually, so that I can discern what comes from you and what seeks only to destroy. Father, I also ask for protection over my heart. Keep bitterness from returning, jealousy from taking root, pride from rising subtly, and hatred from poisoning love. Teach me to guard my affections carefully, so that what I love aligns with what you love, and what I reject mirrors what you reject. Let my heart remain tender enough to love deeply, yet strong enough to resist corruption. Lord, I ask for protection over my body as well. Guard me from harm seen and unseen, from accidents, from illnesses designed to drain me, from fatigue that leaves me vulnerable. Strengthen me to face the physical demands of this day with resilience. Let every breath remind me that you are the giver of life, and let every step be carried under the covering of your presence. God, I bring before you the battles fought in places I cannot see. Spiritual struggles, generational patterns, hidden snares, things too deep for me to comprehend, yet never beyond your reach. Stand as my defender when I cannot fight for myself. Surround me with your angels. Let their presence drive back the darkness. Teach me to put on the armor you have provided, truth to steady me, righteousness to guard me, faith to shield me, salvation to secure me, your word to guide me, and prayer to connect me. Let me not walk into this day unprepared, but clothed fully in your protection. Father, I ask for protection not only for myself, but for those I love. Guard my family from harm, cover them in safety, and protect them from influences that would lead them away from you. Let no plan of the enemy succeed against them. Surround our home with peace, and let every person who enters sense the weight of your presence. Keep us united in love so that division finds no foothold among us. Lord, I also ask you to protect the work you are doing within me when evil tries to disrupt growth with distraction or discourage me with setbacks. Steady my heart so that I do not lose sight of what you have begun. Protect my calling from compromise, my integrity from erosion, and my faith from wavering. Let every attempt to derail me become instead a testimony of your sustaining power. God, I do not pray this out of fear, but out of awareness. Evil is real, but it is not ultimate. Darkness exists, but it cannot overcome light. You have already secured victory, and I live in the shadow of that triumph. So while I ask for protection, I also declare confidence that nothing can separate me from your love. Nothing can snatch me from your hand. Nothing can undo what you have ordained. Father, let me not only be defended but also discerning. When subtle compromises try to slip past my guard, alert me quickly. When confusion tries to blur truth, shine clarity into my mind. When despair tries to settle, stir hope in my spirit. When intimidation tries to silence me, give me boldness to stand. I do not want merely to survive under pressure, but to live in a way that reflects the confidence of one who knows they are secure in you. Lord, I ask for peace in the middle of the battle. Protection is not only about being spared from hardship, but about being sustained in it. So when trials come, let me not crumble in fear. Let me stand steady, and knowing that you are with me. Let courage rise stronger than intimidation, hope stronger than despair, love stronger than hate. Let my life become a living declaration that no matter how fierce the struggle, your presence is greater still. God, I pray also for those who are vulnerable to evil in ways I may not be, for the oppressed, the silenced, the broken, the forgotten. Stand as their defender. Protect them when the world looks away. Rescue them when injustice rises. Empower them when systems fail. Let my life, in whatever way possible, become part of your protection for them. Use my voice, my resources, my hands to extend the covering you give. Father, as I move into this day, I do not step in fear of what could harm me, but in confidence of the one who keeps me. Let every shadow be driven back by your light, every lie silenced by your truth, every attack stopped by your shield. And as I live under the covering of your protection, let me carry peace wherever I go, so that others too may taste the safety that only you provide. Father, as I rest in the assurance of your protection against evil, my heart is reminded that even with your covering, storms still come. Life does not always move in calm and order. There are winds that rise without warning, waves that crash with relentless force, and seasons where the horizon looks uncertain. I do not ask that you remove every storm, for I know that trials shape me. But I ask for peace that carries me through them, peace that steadies my breath when the air feels heavy, peace that calms my thoughts when fear whispers loudly, peace that anchors my soul when everything around me shakes. Lord, I admit how easily I can become unsettled by circumstances, when plans collapse, when people disappoint, when loss arrives unexpectedly. I feel the ground beneath me tremble. Anxiety rushes in like flooding waters, and I struggle to keep perspective. Yet even in those moments, I know you are present. You are not distant, watching from afar, but near, closer than the storm itself. Remind me that peace is not found in the absence of chaos, but in the presence of the one who rules over it. God, I think of how the disciples once feared for their lives in the storm. While you slept in the boat, their cries were desperate, convinced they would perish. But you rose and spoke a word, and the winds obeyed. That story is not just history. It is truth for me now, the same voice that silenced the sea, then speaks into my storms today. Let me not forget that the one who calms the waves also resides within my heart. Father, I ask you to teach me to breathe in the middle of difficulty. When stress tightens my chest, when fear clouds my judgment, when despair presses heavily, remind me to pause and turn my gaze to you. Even a whispered prayer in the middle of chaos can open the door for your peace to enter. Teach me to choose trust over panic, surrender over control, stillness over frantic striving. Let my soul learn the rhythm of rest even when the world demands constant movement. Lord, I bring before you the storms that weigh most heavily on me now, the unresolved conflicts, the financial pressures, the health concerns, the uncertain future. They swirl around me like fierce winds, but I place them in your hands. I declare that these storms do not define me, nor do they determine my destiny. They are temporary, but your presence is eternal. They roar loudly, but your voice is stronger. Let me see beyond the storm to the hope you have prepared. God, I ask also for peace that flows into the lives of those I love. I know many carry storms of their own battles they do not speak of, fears they cannot name, burdens they feel they must carry alone. Surround them with calm. Let them sense that even in the darkest night, dawn will come. Let them experience comfort that goes beyond explanation. And let that comfort remind them that they are never abandoned. Father, I pray for a peace that transcends understanding, the kind that guards both heart and mind, not peace dependent on circumstances, not peace that disappears when trouble comes, but peace so deep that it becomes unshackable. Let it guard my emotions when they swing wildly, and my thoughts when they spiral downward. Let it guard my words so that I speak calmly instead of reacting harshly, and my decisions so that I move with wisdom instead of haste. Lord, help me to be a vessel of peace in a world of turmoil. When others are anxious, let my presence bring calm. When others are fearful, let my words offer reassurance. When others are restless, let my actions point to stability. Teach me not to add to the noise of panic, but to reflect the stillness of one who knows their life is held securely. Let me carry peace into my workplace, my home, my friendships, and even into spaces where conflict brews. God, I ask for resilience in storms that do not end quickly. Some trials pass swiftly, but others linger, testing patience and endurance. In those long seasons, let peace be the steady undercurrent that carries me forward. Protect me from bitterness that comes from waiting, from despair that comes from delay, and from weariness that tempts me to give up. Remind me that even long storms eventually break, and that while they rage, you are shaping strength in me that could not be built in calm waters. Father, let peace be the song of my morning, the strength of my afternoon, and the rest of my evening. Let it be the anchor I return to throughout the day, no matter what arises. When unexpected news arrives, let peace steady me. When disappointments come, let peace hold me. When uncertainty looms, let peace remind me that I am not alone. Lord, I thank you that peace is not something I must earn or chase. It is a gift you freely give, a fruit that grows in the soil of trust. Help me to cultivate that soil daily, to water it with prayer, to nurture it with gratitude, to guard it from the weeds of fear and doubt. Let my life become a garden where peace thrives, visible to all who look in, So as the storms of life come and go, I rest in the assurance that my peace does not rise and fall with the winds. It is anchored in you, unshakable, unwavering, unending. And with that assurance, I step into this day ready not only to endure, but to live fully, carrying calm into every place my feet touch. Father, as peace steadies my soul even in the midst of storms, I now turn my heart to joy. Peace anchors me, but joy lifts me, giving me strength to move forward with hope. Too often I forget that joy is not reserved for mountaintop moments or grand celebrations, but is a gift woven into the fabric of everyday life. This morning, I ask you to awaken in me a spirit of joy that cannot be shaken by circumstance, a joy that shines through ordinary moments and transforms them into sacred reminders of your presence. Lord, I confess that I sometimes allow the weight of responsibilities, the distractions of routine, or the disappointments of unmet expectations to steal joy from my days. I rush through tasks without noticing beauty. I measure success only by results. And I miss the treasures hidden in simple moments. Teach me to slow down enough to see joy in the sunrise, to hear it in laughter, to taste it in shared meals, to feel it in quiet pauses. Remind me that joy is not something distant, but something present, waiting to be noticed. God, I ask you to fill me with joy that is rooted in gratitude. Gratitude opens my eyes to blessings I often overlook, turning the ordinary into extraordinary. When I give thanks, even small gifts glow with meaning. So let me begin today with a heart of appreciation, thankful for breath in my lungs, for the strength to rise, for the people I love, for the opportunities ahead, and most of all, for your faithful love that sustains me. Let gratitude water the soil of my heart so that joy grows freely. Father, I pray for joy that does not depend on perfect circumstances. Situations may shift, people may fail, plans may fall apart, but joy grounded in you remains steady. When work becomes difficult, let joy remind me that diligence has value. When relationships face strain, let joy remind me that love can still flourish. When days feel repetitive, let joy remind me that even the smallest acts can honor you. Free me from the lie that joy is fragile, and show me instead that joy is resilient, able to bloom even in harsh conditions. Lord, let joy also shape the way I treat others. A joyful heart is not closed off or self-absorbed, but generous, overflowing, and contagious. Teach me to carry joy into conversations so that my words uplift instead of tear down. Let my smile offer encouragement to someone weary. Let my laughter remind others that hope is still alive. Let my presence bring light into spaces clouded by negativity. May joy flow from me not as a forced performance, but as a genuine reflection of the gladness you plant within me. God, I ask for joy in my work today, not just in outcomes achieved, but in the process of creating, building, serving, and learning. Let me find joy in collaboration, in effort, in perseverance. Let me see each task not as a burden, but as an opportunity to reflect your goodness. And when challenges arise, let joy keep me from discouragement. Let it remind me that growth comes through struggle, that victories often follow persistence, and that my labor is never wasted when offered to you. Father, I ask also for joy in my relationships. Let me delight in the presence of family and friends, cherishing time together rather than letting it slip by unnoticed. Help me to notice small gestures of kindness, to celebrate progress rather than perfection, to laugh freely without fear of judgment. Let joy deepen bonds, soften tensions, and create memories that strengthen us in seasons of difficulty. Lord, I pray for joy that endures even in seasons of loss. Grief and joy may seem like opposites, yet I know they can coexist. Grief acknowledges pain, but joy reminds me that pain is not the end. Even in sorrow, I can find joy in the promise of your nearness, in the comfort of shared love, in the assurance that hope remains. Teach me to honor both grief and joy, letting them weave together into a deeper understanding of life's beauty. God, let joy be my strength when I feel weak. Scripture reminds me that joy renews energy, that it infuses courage, that it sustains perseverance. So when I feel like giving up, let joy lift me. When fear tempts me to retreat, let joy propel me forward. When weariness whispers that I cannot go on, let joy remind me of the purpose that carries me. Fill me with joy so abundant that it spills into every area of my life, making even hard places brighter. Father, I also pray for joy in silence, in moments without noise or distraction. Let me sense your presence as delight, not duty. Let solitude be filled with joy rather than emptiness. Let prayer be infused with joy rather than heaviness. Let me rest in the truth that you take joy in me, and let that realization stir joy in my own heart. Lord, I ask you to make joy the fragrance of my life, something others notice not because I announce it, but because it lingers wherever I go. Let my life testify that joy is possible even in imperfection, even in struggle, even in uncertainty. May people see in me a joy that draws them toward you, the true source of every good gift. So as I walk into this day, I choose joy not as a fleeting feeling, but as a steady posture of the soul. Joy that flows from gratitude, joy that endures through trial, joy that blesses others, and joy that strengthens me. With joy as my companion, I can face the day not with heaviness, but with hope, not with dread, but with delight, not with despair, but with unshakable gladness rooted in your love. Father, as joy fills my heart and teaches me to embrace the beauty of this day, I now lift my eyes forward to what lies ahead. The present is precious, yet my soul longs also for hope that reaches beyond the boundaries of today. There are dreams within me, uncertainties before me, and questions that stretch into tomorrow. I do not want to face the future with fear or with anxious striving, but with hope rooted in your promises. So this morning, I entrust the road ahead into your hands, asking you to anchor me not in what I can control, but in what you have already spoken. Lord, I confess how easily the future can stir unease within me. Thoughts of what might happen, of what could go wrong, of what remains unfinished often cloud my peace. Sometimes I imagine scenarios that weigh heavily on my spirit, even before they unfold. Yet I know these thoughts are not from you, for you have called me to live in hope, not dread. Hope is not denial of reality, but confidence in the one who holds all realities together. Remind me that nothing in the days to come will catch you by surprise. You are already there, preparing the way. God, ask you to fill me with vision for the future. Not vision born of selfish ambition, but vision aligned with your will. Open my eyes to see possibilities that reflect your goodness, to dream dreams that honor your purpose, to pursue goals that bless others as much as they bless me. Give me courage to hope again in areas where I once gave up. Breathe life into promises that feel delayed. Revive desires that seemed too far out of reach. Let me not shrink my life to the size of my fears, but expand it to the size of your faithfulness. Father, I pray for hope that is steady in seasons of waiting. The future often unfolds slower than I expect, and patience does not always come easily. In the gap between promise and fulfillment, between prayer and answer, let my hope remain alive. Teach me to wait without despair, to trust without wavering, to rest without giving up. Let waiting become a place of growth instead of frustration, a place where faith deepens and character strengthens. Lord, I bring to you the uncertainties of provision, of health, of relationships, of opportunities. Each of these carries questions I cannot answer, outcomes I cannot control. But hope reminds me that I do not need to know every detail, because I know the one who does. Let hope silence the voice of worry, reminding me that my story is not unfinished, but unfolding according to your design. Even when I cannot see the full picture, let hope assure me that the pieces will fit together in time. God, I ask you to make me a person who carries hope into the lives of others. The world around me often feels heavy, filled with voices of despair, news of trouble, and predictions of decline. Let my life stand as a quiet contradiction to hopelessness. Let my words speak of possibility. Let my presence radiate calm assurance. Let my actions inspire faith. Use me to remind others that the future is not empty, that goodness is still possible, that you are still at work. Father, I pray for the generations after me. Plant seeds of hope in their hearts so that they grow strong and resilient, not discouraged by challenges, but equipped to rise above them. Let the legacy I leave behind be one of faith that looked forward, not backward, of courage that faced tomorrow, not fear that hid from it. May my children and their children inherit not just material things, but a vision of hope rooted in your truth. Lord, I also pray for hope in the ultimate sense, hope that looks not only to earthly futures, but to eternal promises. Remind me that every blessing I enjoy now is only a glimpse of what awaits, that every struggle I endure now is only temporary compared to the glory to come. Let this eternal hope infuse my daily choices with perspective, reminding me that what I build here echoes forever. Let me hold loosely to what fades and cling tightly to what endures. God, I ask you to help me guard my heart against cynicism. It is easy to let disappointments accumulate until hope feels naive, but cynicism is not wisdom. It is simply the absence of trust. Break its grip on me. Teach me to hope boldly, to expect goodness without apology, to dream without fear of disappointment. Let my heart remain tender, open to wonder, alive to possibility. Let me live not as one bracing for the worst, but as one anticipating the best you have prepared. Father, Let hope guide my steps when I am tempted to settle for less than what you intended. Let it push me forward when I hesitate. Hold me steady when I waver. Lift me up when I falter. Let it give me strength to endure trials, patience to wait for answers, and courage to pursue callings. Let it be the fire that keeps me moving when circumstances try to dim my passion. Lord, I thank you that hope is not fragile, for it rests not in me but in you. My emotions may shift, my plans may fail, my strength may fade, but hope anchored in your faithfulness remains unshaken. Each sunrise is proof that tomorrow comes. Each breath is proof that you sustain. Each answered prayer is proof that waiting is not in vain. And with each reminder, my hope grows stronger, ready to face the unknown with confidence. So as I carry joy into this day, I carry hope into tomorrow. My future is not a place of fear, but a canvas painted by your hand. With hope alive in me, I can step forward not with hesitation, but with expectation, trusting that what lies ahead is held securely in the embrace of your love. Father, as hope anchors me for the future and reminds me that every tomorrow is secured in your hands, I see more clearly that the greatest calling you place on my life is to love. Hope gives me vision. Peace steadies my spirit. Joy strengthens my heart. But love is the thread that ties it all together. Without love, every achievement is empty, every word is hollow, and every prayer falls short of its fullness. So this morning I ask you to fill me again with love, not the shallow kind the world often imitates, but the deep, patient, sacrificial love that reflects your very heart. Lord, I confess that love does not always come easily. There are people I find difficult to forgive, people whose words sting, people whose actions wound. There are moments when impatience rises quicker than compassion, when judgment feels easier than grace. Yet I know you do not call me to love only when it is convenient, or when others deserve it. You call me to love as you have loved me freely, generously, and without condition. Teach me to step beyond my own comfort into the kind of love that sees others through the lens of eternity. God, let love reshape the way I speak. Guard my tongue from sharpness, from sarcasm, from words that cut more deeply than I realize. Instead, let my words become gentle streams of encouragement, soothing wounds and watering seeds of hope. Let me speak truth, but let it always be wrapped in kindness. Let me correct when needed, but with humility. Let my conversations leave people feeling valued, not diminished. May every sentence carry traces of the love that flows from you. Father, let love guide the way I see others. It is easy to notice flaws, failures, or differences, but love teaches me to look deeper. Help me to see past the surface and recognize the stories that shape them, the struggles they endure, the image of you imprinted on their lives. Remind me that every person I encounter, whether friend or stranger, is someone you cherish. Let love open my eyes to dignity where the world sees none, to potential where others see only weakness, to beauty where brokenness tries to hide. Lord, let love move me to action. Love is not only sentiment but sacrifice. Teach me to serve without expecting repayment, to give without seeking recognition, to help without counting the cost. Let my hands be ready to carry burdens, my feet ready to go where needed, my resources ready to bless those in lack. Let me not withhold when I have the means to make a difference. Let love stretch me beyond convenience into true generosity. God, I ask for love that is patient. When people frustrate me, when progress feels slow, when misunderstandings repeat, give me patience that refuses to give up. Teach me to wait with grace, to endure with kindness, to stay present without resentment. Let patience reveal love not as weakness, but as strength, the strength to keep believing, to keep hoping, to keep caring even when it cost me more than I thought I could give. Father, I ask also for love that forgives quickly. Help me not to hold grudges or keep records of wrongs. Show me how to release offenses as soon as they come, to extend mercy freely, to let grace flow through me as naturally as breathing. Remind me that forgiveness is not condoning harm, but choosing freedom. Let my heart remain soft, unscared by bitterness, because it beats in rhythm with yours. Lord, let love cover even my enemies. This is the hardest calling of all, to love those who hurt me, to pray for those who oppose me, to wish good upon those who wish me harm. Yet I know this is the love that transforms the world, the love that disarms hatred, the love that reflects you most clearly. Give me the courage to bless where I could curse, to build bridges where I could burn them, to answer hostility with kindness that confuses and heals. God, let love also shape how I see myself. Too often I am harsh, critical, and impatient with my own shortcomings. Teach me to receive your love, not only in theory, but in practice, to let it wash away shame and clothe me in dignity. Let me live not in self-condemnation, but in acceptance of the grace you freely offer. From that place of security, let me love others more freely, no longer bound by fear of rejection or failure. Father, I ask you to let love define my legacy. When my days are done, let people not remember accomplishments or possessions, but love that touched their lives. Let children remember kindness. Let friends recall encouragement. Let strangers remember a simple act of care that made them feel seen. Let love echo beyond my years, carrying seeds that grow into lives transformed long after I am gone. Lord, I know that love is not a destination, but a daily choice. Every morning I must decide to love again, even when tired, even when misunderstood, even when tempted to close my heart. So I ask you to renew me each day, to fill me afresh so that love never runs dry. Let it be the first thing I give and the last thing I hold on to. So as hope points me toward the future, I will walk that road with love as my foundation. Love for you, love for others, and love that shines as proof that you dwell within me. With love alive, every moment becomes meaningful, every action purposeful, every day an opportunity to reflect the light of your heart. Father, as love becomes the foundation of my life, I see how essential it is to carry that love into the places where I live and serve, especially within community. You did not design me to walk alone, but to be woven into relationships that reflect your heart. From the beginning you said it is not good for humanity to be alone. And throughout history you have built families, tribes, and communities as vessels of belonging. This morning, I bring before you my role in the circles you have placed me, asking you to cultivate unity where there is division, compassion where there is indifference, and connection where there is isolation. Lord, I confess that community is often messy, where people gather. Differences arise, misunderstandings creep in, pride takes root, and conflicts can fracture what was meant to be whole. Too often I have been quick to defend myself rather than seek reconciliation, quick to highlight flaws rather than celebrate strengths, quick to withdraw when I feel hurt rather than lean in with patience. Forgive me for the ways I have contributed to division. Teach me instead to be a bridge, a peacemaker, a vessel of harmony that reflects your spirit. God, I ask for humility in my relationships. Unity is not achieved by forcing others into my likeness, but by learning to honor the beauty of diversity. Teach me to listen more than I speak, to seek understanding before demanding to be understood, to appreciate perspectives different from my own without fear or defensiveness. Remind me that every person carries a story I do not fully know, and every voice holds a piece of truth worth hearing. Let humility disarm pride, creating space where trust can grow. Father, I lift up the communities I am part of, my family, my workplace, my neighborhood, my spiritual gatherings. Each one has its own rhythm, its own challenges, its own opportunities. I ask you to infuse them with grace. In my family, let love soften tensions and gratitude nurture closeness. In my workplace, let respect and fairness build trust among colleagues. In my neighborhood, let kindness break down barriers of distance and indifference. In spiritual gatherings, let unity be stronger than differences, so that together we reflect your love to the world. Lord, I ask you to make me a person who sows peace. Where gossip stirs division, let my words bring healing. Where conflict escalates, let my presence diffuse anger. Where exclusion isolates, let my actions extend welcome. Teach me to see opportunities, not for argument, but for encouragement, not for suspicion, but for generosity. Let me become known not by how I take sides, but by how I extend grace. God, I also pray for courage to confront what hinders unity. True peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of truth wrapped in love. When injustice arises, let me not stay silent out of fear, but speak with gentleness and clarity. When wounds remain unhealed, give me patience to walk with others through the slow work of restoration. When bitterness threatens to divide, give me strength to pursue forgiveness first. Keep me from complacency that avoids discomfort, and lead me into bold love that works for reconciliation. Father, I bring before you those who feel alone, cut off from community, longing for connection but uncertain where to find it. Surround them with people who will welcome them genuinely. Teach me to notice the ones on the margins, to invite rather than exclude, to embrace rather than overlook. Let my life become a doorway that leads others into belonging. Lord, I ask for unity not just in personal circles, but in the wider world. Nations are divided, communities torn, cultures fractured by suspicion and hostility. The pain of division is evident in violence, in hatred, in systems that perpetuate inequality. Into these broken places, let your spirit breathe reconciliation. Use leaders who value justice and humility. Use communities willing to serve one another. And use ordinary people like me to carry kindness into daily interactions. Though I cannot change the whole world, I can reflect unity in the corner of it you have entrusted to me. God, teach me also to accept the vulnerability that true community requires. To be united with others means opening myself to being known, which is not always easy. Help me resist the temptation to hide behind walls of self-sufficiency or fear of rejection. Remind me that love thrives where honesty exists, that healing begins where truth is spoken, that trust grows when people share both joys and burdens. Give me courage to live authentically and to create safe spaces where others can do the same. Father, let unity and community be marked by shared purpose. Remind us that our differences are not obstacles but strengths. That together we can accomplish what none of us could alone. Teach us to celebrate each other's gifts, to support each other as struggles, to build together rather than compete against one another. Let my life contribute to that shared strength, offering what I can, receiving what others give, and rejoicing in the beauty of being part of something larger than myself. Lord, I ask you to keep my heart soft in seasons when community disappoints me. People will fail, promises will be broken, expectations unmet. In those moments, keep me from withdrawing into isolation. Teach me to grieve honestly, but also to forgive generously, to acknowledge hurt, but also to keep seeking connection. Do not let disappointment rob me of the gift of belonging, but instead let it deepen my dependence on you as the source of true unity. God, thank you that you yourself embody community, Father, Son, and Spirit in perfect harmony. Teach me to mirror that divine fellowship in the relationships around me. Let unity not be forced, but flow naturally as your presence shapes us. And as I walk into this day, let me carry that unity as a quiet testimony to the world that love is stronger than division, and community is stronger than isolation. Father, as unity and community take root in my life, and I begin to see the beauty of belonging, I realize that this gift is never meant to be hoarded. Love becomes fullest when it is expressed through action, when compassion takes shape in service, and when gratitude flows outward as generosity. My life is not my own, and the blessings you pour into me are not just for me to enjoy, but for me to share. This morning, I ask you to open my hands wider, to loosen my grip on what I call mine, and to teach me to live with a posture of giving that reflects your endless generosity. Lord, I confess that it is easy to be consumed with my own needs, my own worries, and my own ambitions. I often look first to what I lack rather than to what I can give. I hold tightly to time, to resources, to energy, fearing that if I pour out too much, I will be left empty. But you remind me that in your kingdom, the opposite is true. Those who give freely are the ones who are filled. Those who serve others are the ones who find joy. Those who live open-handed discover that there is always enough. Break the chains of scarcity that grip my heart and replace them with trust in your abundant provision. God, I ask you to shape my heart into one of a servant. Service is not glamorous, nor does it always bring recognition, but it is holy. It mirrors the life of your Son, who washed feet, touched the outcast, fed the hungry, and carried the burdens of others, let me never think myself above any act of kindness, no matter how small. Whether it is listening when someone needs to be heard, helping with unseen tasks, or offering encouragement when spirits are low, let me be quick to serve without hesitation or complaint. Father, I pray that generosity would flow naturally from me. Generosity not only of money but of time, attention, encouragement, and presence. Teach me to notice the opportunities to bless others in ways that cost me something, yet bring life to them. Help me not to wait until I feel I have more than enough, but to give from what I already have. Remind me that generosity is not about the size of the gift, but the spirit behind it, and that even small offerings can ripple far when placed in your hands. Lord, let me not serve or give with hidden agendas. Remove from me the pride that wants recognition, the insecurity that seeks approval, or the fear that expects repayment. Let my acts of generosity be pure, motivated by love and not by gain. Teach me to give secretly when possible, to serve quietly, to bless without drawing attention to myself, knowing that you see what others do not. Let my reward not be in applause, but in the joy of knowing I have mirrored your heart. God, I ask you to help me balance service with rest. Sometimes I fear that giving too much will burn me out. Yet I know that true service is not draining when it flows from your strength. Teach me to serve from overflow rather than from exhaustion, to draw continually from your presence so that I do not run dry. Show me when to say yes and when to say no, when to pour out and when to be replenished, so that my service remains joyful and sustainable. Father, I pray also for opportunities to serve beyond what feels comfortable. Stretch me into places where generosity requires faith, where service challenges my routines, where giving pushes me to trust you more deeply. Let me not cling to comfort zones, but step into needs that seem bigger than me, believing that you will equip me to meet them. Remind me that the greatest blessings often come not when I am at ease, but when I step into sacrifice. Lord, I bring before you those who are in need today, the hungry, the lonely, the sick, the oppressed. My heart aches for them, and I ask you to make me part of the answer to their cries. Use my hands to bring food, my voice to bring encouragement, my presence to bring comfort, my resources to bring relief. Show me that service is not reserved for distant missions, but begins with the person next to me. The neighbor down the street, the coworker at my side. Let me live with eyes open to see needs I might otherwise overlook. God, I thank you for the ways others have served me. I remember the times when kindness arrived at just the right moment, when generosity lightened my load, when someone's selfless act reminded me that I was not alone. Those memories remind me of the power of even the simplest gesture. Help me to carry that same power to others, creating memories of hope and encouragement in their lives. Father, let my life be marked by service and generosity in such a way that others see not me but you. When people encounter my giving, let them sense your love behind it. When they receive my service, let them feel the reflection of your care. May every act point back to the source, reminding them that there is a God who sees. who provides, and who loves beyond measure. Lord, I ask that service and generosity would not be occasional acts, but a way of life. Let them become woven into the rhythm of my days, natural as breathing, consistent as walking. Let me wake each morning with a willingness to ask, who can I serve today? Whom can I bless? And let me end each evening with gratitude that I had the chance to give. So as I move forward from the gift of unity, I step into the calling of service and generosity. My hands are open, my heart is ready, and my life belongs not to myself alone, but to the world you have placed around me. In giving, I will discover abundance. In serving, I will discover joy. And in living this way, I will reflect the very love that first transformed me. Father, as my heart learns to serve with open hands and to give with joy, I know that the path of love and generosity is not without obstacles. Life brings challenges, some expected and some that arrive suddenly like storms in the night. There are trials that test endurance, hardships that shake confidence, and struggles that press heavily against the soul. Yet even here, I believe you are near, and in this place I ask not for escape, but for strength to endure, courage to face what comes, and faith to trust that even in difficulty, there is purpose. Lord, I confess that trials often expose my weakness. When adversity rises, I am tempted to retreat into fear, to complain, to ask why instead of how. I long for comfort and certainty, yet I know growth is often forged in places of discomfort. Remind me that trials are not punishments, but opportunities for my faith to deepen, for resilience to be built, and for character to be refined. Keep me from bitterness, and instead let hardship become a classroom where I learn to depend more fully on you. God, I ask you for strength that is steady, not fleeting, strength that does not crumble when pressure mounts but stands firm like a tree planted by streams of water. Let me draw from your spirit the way roots draw nourishment from hidden waters. Though winds may bend me and storms may rage, keep me from breaking. Let my soul remain grounded, not in my own resolve, but in the assurance that you will never leave me nor forsake me. Father, I pray for courage in the face of uncertainty. Trials often cloud the future, filling it with shadows of what might go wrong. Yet courage does not require me to see the whole road ahead, only to take the next step with faith. Teach me to walk forward even when the way feels unclear, trusting that light will appear as I move. Let courage rise in me not as reckless boldness, but as quiet confidence in your presence. Lord, I ask you to remind me that I am not alone in my struggles. Too often I believe the lie that I must carry burdens silently, but you have placed people around me for support. Give me humility to reach out when I need help, to share honestly when I am weary, to allow others to carry some of the load, and in turn, let me be a companion to those enduring their own trials. Offering empathy, listening, and encouragement. Let trials knit us together rather than drive us apart. God, I pray for wisdom in the midst of hardship. Strength is not only the ability to endure, but also the clarity to see what lessons lie within the struggle. Teach me to discern when to persevere and when to let go, when to fight and when to surrender, when to speak and when to remain silent. Let wisdom shape my responses so that trials refine me rather than consume me. Father, I ask that even in trials, gratitude would not fade from my lips. Though pain tempts me to focus only on loss, let me also notice the mercies that remain, the kindness of a friend, the beauty of a sunrise, the breath that still fills my lungs. Gratitude does not erase hardship, but it reframes it, reminding me that even in darkness, light still flickers. Let thankfulness become a quiet act of defiance against despair. Lord, I lift up those whose trials feel unbearable today. The sick who wait for healing, the grieving who ache for comfort, the weary who labor without rest, the broken-hearted who wonder if joy will ever return. Surround them with your strength. Let them sense your nearness in the night, hear your whisper in the silence, and feel your arms holding them when they cannot stand. Use me, if you will, to be part of their comfort, to offer words, actions, or presence that remind them they are not forgotten. God, I thank you for the promise that trials do not last forever. Seasons shift, storms pass, wounds heal. Even when the night feels endless, morning always comes. Let that truth sustain me when I am tempted to despair. Help me to hold on to the promise that endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint because your love is poured into my heart. Father, let trials not define me but refine me. Let them shape me into someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more resilient. Let them strip away pride, selfishness, and fear, leaving behind faith, humility, and courage. Let me emerge from trials not hardened but softened, not bitter but kinder, not weaker but filled with strength that comes only from you. Lord, as I walk forward into this day, I do not know what trials may come, but I know who walks with me, and that is enough. So I will step into the unknown with confidence, not because I am fearless, but because I am not abandoned. My strength does not depend on circumstances, but on your presence. And that presence is my anchor, my shield, and my song. So with service in my hands and generosity in my heart, I face the trials ahead with courage. What was once a threat becomes a teacher. What once felt like defeat becomes an opportunity. And what once seemed unbearable becomes a testimony of your sustaining strength. Father, as I learn to draw strength in trials and to walk with courage through storms, I recognize how deeply my soul longs for healing. Trials leave marks upon the heart, and even when the battle subsides, wounds often remain. Some are visible, but many are hidden beneath the surface where only you can see. I bring these tender places to you now, asking not only for strength to endure, but for restoration that makes me whole again. I do not want to carry scars that weigh me down with bitterness or fear, but to rise renewed, healed, and restored by your touch. Lord, I confess that there are times I have tried to hide my pain, to pretend I am fine, to press forward while ignoring what hurts inside. Yet I know that unacknowledged wounds grow heavier, and suppressed sorrow eventually seeps out in harmful ways. You call me not to bury pain, but to bring it into your light, where truth can cleanse and grace can mend. Give me courage to be honest with myself and with you, trusting that you do not condemn my weakness, but meet me in it with compassion. God, I ask you to heal the broken pieces of my heart. Heal the disappointments that left me discouraged, the betrayals that made me cautious, the losses that hollowed my joy. Touch the memories that still sting when I recall them. Wash over my spirit with peace that soothes, like gentle rain on parched ground. Teach me to release what I cannot change, to forgive where I have held on too tightly, and to find freedom in letting go of the past. Father, I pray for healing not only in me, but in relationships fractured by conflict or neglect. Where words have wounded, let forgiveness grow. Where distance has stretched bonds thin, let reconciliation bridge the gap. Where misunderstanding has clouded connection, let clarity and humility restore it. I know that restoration takes time, patience, and courage, but I believe that with you all things are possible. Guide me to take the first step where needed, and give me grace to wait where I cannot control the outcome. Lord, I lift up physical healing as well. My body, fragile and finite, often carries pain, illness, and fatigue. I ask you to strengthen what is weak, to renew what is weary, to bring vitality where sickness has drained. Thank you for the wisdom of doctors and the care of medicine. But I place my ultimate hope in you, the one who knit me together and knows every cell. Whether you heal instantly or through slow process, let my body reflect your sustaining power. God, I pray also for mental and emotional healing. Anxiety, depression, fear, and shame are battles that weigh heavily on many hearts, including my own at times. Speak calm into my anxious thoughts. Lift the fog of despair. Silence the lies of shame, and remind me that I am deeply loved and never beyond redemption. Restore my mind with clarity, resilience, and peace. Let my thoughts be renewed so that I may walk in freedom rather than in chains. Father, I know that restoration is not just about erasing pain, but about bringing forth new life. Like a tree that blooms again after winter, let beauty rise from the places that once felt barren. Teach me to see scars not as signs of defeat, but as testimonies of survival. Proof that I have been carried through by your grace. Let what once was broken become a source of strength and empathy, equipping me to comfort others with the comfort I have received. Lord, I ask you to extend healing beyond me, into the lives of those I love and those I encounter. There are people around me silently carrying burdens too heavy for them. Open my eyes to their pain, and make me an instrument of comfort. Let my words bring reassurance, my actions bring relief, my presence bring calm. Use me as a vessel of restoration, reminding others through my care that they are not alone. God, I also pray for healing in communities and nations torn apart by division, violence, or injustice. The world is scarred by wounds of hatred, inequality, and war. Let peace replace strife. Let justice heal oppression. Let reconciliation mend divides. Raise up voices that speak truth with compassion, leaders who serve with integrity, and communities willing to forgive and rebuild. Let your spirit breathe renewal where hopelessness has settled. Father, I thank you that restoration is not a distant promise, but something that begins even now. Each sunrise is proof that new beginnings are possible. Each act of kindness is evidence of brokenness being mended. Each prayer whispered in faith is a seed of healing planted. Teach me to notice these signs of renewal so that I do not miss the quiet ways you are already working. Lord, let me carry a heart that believes restoration is always possible. No matter how deep the wound, how long the waiting, or how heavy the loss, let me trust that your power is greater still. When I am tempted to believe that things will never change, remind me that resurrection is at the core of who you are. You bring life where death has reigned, beauty where ashes lie, and joy where mourning lingers. So as I rise into this day, I rise not only with strength for trials, but hope for healing. My heart is open to restoration, my body to renewal, my relationships to reconciliation, and my spirit to the peace that only you can give. And as I walk, I will carry the quiet confidence that nothing is too broken for your hands to mend. Father, as healing begins to restore my soul and renewal lifts me into a place of freedom, I realize how much I depend on your wisdom to walk the path ahead. Restoration gives me new strength, but without guidance, I could wander in circles, chasing desires that lead me away from what matters. So this morning, I come to you not only for comfort, but for direction. I ask you to be the compass of my heart, the voice that whispers when I am uncertain, the light that makes the next step clear, even when the full road is hidden from view. Lord, I confess that I often lean on my own understanding. I make decisions quickly, sometimes out of fear, sometimes out of pride, sometimes out of impatience. Too often I ask you to bless choices I have already made instead of seeking your will before I move. Forgive me for treating my own wisdom as sufficient, when you have offered me the fullness of divine counsel. Teach me humility to pause, to listen, and to wait until your direction is clear, even when it requires laying down my own plans. God, I ask you to give me discernment. Not every opportunity is meant to be pursued. Not every door that opens is one I should walk through. Some paths lead to life and others to distraction, and I cannot always tell the difference without your help. Open my eyes to see what is true beneath appearances. Show me the motives that drive choices, both in myself and in others. Guard me from deception, from flattery, from false shortcuts that promise ease but end in regret. Let discernment be like a shield that protects me as I journey forward. Father, pray for clarity in the small choices of each day. Guidance is not only for the large decisions that shape a lifetime, but for the countless little moments that form character. Teach me to choose patience over irritation, kindness over indifference, honesty over convenience, discipline over laziness. These small choices, repeated daily, are what carve the direction of my life. Let your spirit whisper even in ordinary moments, reminding me that each step has meaning. Lord, I ask also for courage when your guidance leads me into places that feel unfamiliar or uncomfortable. Sometimes the path you call me to walk is narrow. Sometimes it requires sacrifice. Sometimes it means letting go of what I thought I needed. Give me the strength to trust that your way is better, even when it does not make immediate sense. Remind me that obedience is not about understanding every detail, but about believing that your heart is good. God, I pray for wisdom in relationships. Teach me to discern who to draw close and who to hold at a distance, who speaks truth and who sows harm, who encourages faith and who drains it away. Help me to be discerning without becoming suspicious, wise without becoming closed, cautious without losing compassion. Guide me to build connections that strengthen my walk with you, and to release those that pull me from your presence. Father, I bring before you my work, my responsibilities, my ambitions. Guide me in decisions that affect my future and the lives of others. Show me where to invest my energy, when to pursue new opportunities, when to persevere in old ones, and when to release what no longer bears fruit. Let me not chase success by the world's measure, but pursue faithfulness in the assignments you give me. Let discernment help me avoid distraction, so that I stay true to the calling you have placed upon me. Lord, I ask you to guide me not only in choices, but in timing. Sometimes I desire what is good, but reach for it too soon. And other times I delay out of fear until the moment passes. Teach me the rhythm of waiting and moving. Help me to sense when it is time to act, and when it is time to be still. Let me learn that your timing is as important as your direction, and that both together bring peace and fruitfulness. God, I also pray for discernment in hearing your voice. Many voices compete for my attention, voices of culture, of fear, of doubt, of desire. Teach me to recognize the difference between your whisper and the noise of the world. Let your voice carry peace even when it challenges me, clarity even when it stretches me, gentleness even when it convicts me. Sharpen my spirit to know when it is you who speaks, so that I may follow without hesitation. Father, I thank you for the promise that when I seek your wisdom, you give it generously. I do not ask as one who begs, but as one who trusts that guidance is part of your love. Thank you for the ways you have led me before doors that closed which later spared me, opportunities that opened which changed my path, inner nudges that kept me safe, words from others that confirmed what you had already placed in my heart. Let these memories remind me that I can trust you again. Lord, as I step into this day, I do not need a map of the entire journey. What I need is the lamp for my feet, the light for my path, the daily bread that sustains me moment by moment. I need guidance that comes with each sunrise, discernment that comes with each decision, and peace that comes with each step of obedience. So as healing restores me, I walk forward not blindly, but with confidence that you will direct my steps. And though I cannot see everything ahead, I know that with each moment I surrender to your guidance. The way forward becomes clear, with discernment shaping my choices. I can live with purpose, walk with wisdom, and trust that every step draws me closer to the life you have prepared for me. Father, as your guidance steadies my path and discernment lights the way ahead, my heart naturally overflows with gratitude. To be led by your wisdom is not a small gift. It is evidence that you walk with me daily, caring about even the smallest decisions of my life. In this quiet morning, I pause not to ask for anything, but to thank you for everything. Gratitude shifts my focus from what I lack to what I have, from burdens to blessings, from questions to answers already given. Today, I want to dwell in a spirit of thanksgiving that transforms my outlook and fills me with joy. Lord, I thank you first for life itself, for the breath in my lungs, the strength in my body. The beating of my heart continues without my command. Each breath is a reminder that you have chosen me to be here today, to live this moment, to carry purpose still unfolding. Teach me never to take life for granted, but to treat every day as a sacred gift. God, I thank you for creation, for the beauty that surrounds me even when I rush past it without noticing. The rising sun that paints the sky, the trees that whisper in the breeze, the streams that flow with quiet persistence, all of these are daily reminders of your creativity and care. Let me open my eyes to see beauty even in ordinary places, so that gratitude becomes as natural as breathing. Father, I am grateful for provision, food on my table, shelter over my head, clothes to wear, and the resources that sustain me day by day. I know many live without these simple securities, and I refuse to take them lightly. Thank you for providing not only what I need, but often more than I deserve, and when provision seems scarce. Thank you for teaching me to depend on you in new ways, trusting that you never abandon those who call on your name. Lord, I give thanks for the people in my life family, friends, mentors, and even strangers whose kindness has left marks on my journey. Relationships are treasures more valuable than possessions, and I am humbled that you allow me to share life with others. Thank you for those who encourage me when I falter, who challenge me to grow, who walk beside me in sorrow, and who celebrate with me in joy. Teach me to treasure them, to speak words of gratitude while I still can, and to extend the same love I have received. God, I thank you for forgiveness, for the countless times I have failed, stumbled, or wandered from your will. You have met me not with condemnation, but with mercy. Thank you for grace that lifts me when shame would bury me, for love that welcomes me back when I feel unworthy, for patience that outlasts my weakness. Gratitude for forgiveness frees me from living in regret and fills me with courage to walk in newness each day. Father, I thank you for strength in weakness. Trials have not destroyed me because you have sustained me. The moments I thought I could not endure became the very moments when your power carried me. Thank you for turning struggles into testimonies, for transforming pain into growth, for proving again and again that you are faithful even when life is hard. Gratitude grows deepest when I remember how far you have brought me, how many storms you have carried me through, and how many prayers you have already answered. Lord, I thank you for hope that never dies. In a world filled with uncertainty, you remind me that despair is never final. Gratitude lifts my eyes to see beyond temporary troubles, anchoring me in eternal promises. Thank you for the assurance that even when darkness surrounds me, light will always return. God, I thank you for opportunities, both big and small, for open doors that surprised me, for closed doors that protected me, for chances to grow through challenges, and for lessons learned through failure. Each moment, whether joyful or difficult, becomes a gift when seen through gratitude. Teach me to embrace every season with a thankful heart, knowing that you waste nothing and work all things together for good. Father, I also thank you for the unseen blessings, the dangers I never knew you protected me from, the prayers others lifted on my behalf, the quiet ways you provided without me even asking. So much of your goodness is invisible, yet it surrounds me daily. Let gratitude open my eyes to recognize these hidden gifts, filling me with awe for the depth of your care. Lord, gratitude naturally leads me into praise. For gratitude looks back on what you have done, but praise looks up to who you are. You are faithful, unchanging, compassionate, and just. You are mighty beyond comprehension, yet tender enough to notice the smallest detail of my life. I praise you not only for what you give, but for who are constant when everything else shifts. Holy in all your ways, and worthy of honor beyond words. God, let my life itself become an act of gratitude and praise. Let thankfulness shape the way I treat others, reminding me to express appreciation, to give encouragement, and to notice beauty instead of complaining about flaws. Let praise fill not just my lips in prayer, but my actions in daily living, so that every choice reflects a heart overflowing with gratitude. So as discernment directs me and healing restores me, I will move forward with a heart of thanksgiving. Gratitude will be the lens through which I see my life, and praise will be the song that rises from my spirit. With gratitude, I find joy. With praise, I find peace, and in both, I find you at the very center, faithful and worthy of all honor. Lord, as gratitude fills my heart and praise rises naturally from within me, I sense that this prayer has been more than words. It has been a journey, a path that led me from brokenness to renewal, from weakness to strength, from fear to trust. Every step along the way has drawn me closer to your presence, reminding me that faith is not a moment, but a way of living. Now, as I stand at the threshold of this new day, I lift my eyes with a heart ready not only to pray, but to walk in the faith that these prayers have awakened. Father, faith is not always easy. It asks me to believe when I cannot see, to trust when answers delay, to move forward even when the ground feels uncertain. Yet faith is what sustains me through the unknown. It whispers that I am not alone, that every breath is a gift, that every step is guided, and that every trial has meaning. Teach me to live not by what I feel or by what circumstances suggest, but by the unshakable truth of your promises. Let faith become the rhythm of my days, steady and sure, carrying me beyond fear. God, I ask you to help me embody faith in the way I face challenges. When doubts arise, let faith be my anchor. When weariness drains my energy, let faith be my strength. When temptations call me away from what is right, let faith hold me steady. Let faith not be confined to these quiet mornings, but carried into crowded places, into work, into relationships, into the hidden corners of life where decisions are made. Let it shape the way I think, speak, and act until my life itself becomes a testimony of trust. Lord, I pray for faith that is not passive but alive, faith that moves mountains not only through prayer, but through persistence. Faith that sees obstacles not as reasons to stop, but as invitations to press deeper. Faith that does not shrink back in fear, but steps forward with courage. Believing that you are already there ahead of me, I ask for faith that does not grow stale, but is renewed each day like the dawn. Fresh, vibrant, and full of expectation. Father, let faith guide how I love others. It takes faith to forgive when wronged, to give when resources feel thin, to remain patient when growth seems slow. Faith trusts that love is never wasted, that kindness always plants seeds, that compassion builds bridges, even when results are unseen. Let me live with faith that every act of love carries weight beyond what I notice, echoing into eternity in ways only you can measure. God, I ask for faith that perseveres. Life will bring seasons of joy and seasons of sorrow, times of clarity and times of confusion. Let me hold on in each of them, believing that you remain the same. Faith reminds me that storms do not last forever, that light always returns, and that endurance produces depth. Let me walk with the quiet confidence that no matter what changes around me, my foundation is secure because it rests in you. Lord, I thank you for those who have joined me in this prayer journey, lifting their hearts alongside mine. For every listener, every reader, every soul who has whispered these words with longing, I ask for your blessing. Strengthen their faith today, heal their wounds, guide their steps, and renew their hope. Remind them that they are not alone in this walk, that their prayers matter, and that their faith is precious in your sight. Father, I give thanks for the gift of prayer itself, to speak and be heard, to cry and be comforted, to rejoice and be understood. This is a privilege beyond measure. Prayer is the thread that weaves heaven into earth, that brings eternity into the present moment, that transforms ordinary mornings into sacred encounters. Let me never take this for granted. Let me keep returning, again and again, to this place of communion where my heart finds its true home. God, I know that this prayer does not end here. These words may fall silent, but faith continues in how I live them out. This journey we have shared is not a conclusion, but an opening into daily renewal. Each morning will bring new prayers, new challenges, new opportunities to trust. And so I carry this prayer with me into tomorrow, into every tomorrow that follows, until all my days are completed in your presence. Lord, as I close these spoken words, I picture the dawn breaking gently across the horizon. The light grows slowly, painting the sky with colors that announce a new beginning. A soft breeze moves across the earth, carrying freshness and peace. I breathe deeply and feel life rising within me. This is the image I choose to hold the morning unfolding. The promise of a new day, the reminder that faith is as constant as the sunrise. To those who have journeyed with me through these prayers, I thank you for staying until the end. Your presence in this sacred space matters. I invite you to share your own thoughts, reflections, or prayers below, so that this moment becomes a chorus of voices lifting together. And if these words have touched you, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, to share this video with others, and to continue walking daily in faith. Let us keep building a rhythm of prayer, hope, and trust, so that every sunrise reminds us of God's nearness. And now, as the light of morning spreads, as the gentle wind brushes against the earth, and as living waters flow quietly through unseen places, may faith linger within us. May it stir our hearts, strengthen our steps, and carry us forward with unending hope.